Appreciate you joining. Welcome, welcome. Also, Mamcator?
Jordan? Never heard
Mammicator?
of
Mamikader.
Hey, guys.
I don't know, but that guy or girl
Person.
or other. Thank you so much for doing that to my brain.
All right.
Joining. Welcome, welcome. Also,
Someone's coming. I hear double audio.
As do I. Let me see.
Yeah, I hear double as well.
Not me.
Not me.
Was it coming through someone's mic?
It's all of you.
I don't hear it anymore, so hopefully that's fixed. If there was an audio issue before this,
Sorry.
hopefully we're working all right now. You're not hearing double. You're hearing us correctly. But yeah.
Indeed.
Stream
One
again.
other announcement, if I may, before we move on.
Yeah. Go for it.
Krogar, for you in particular, because you mentioned like you just caught some of episode 13, I think. You were looking to catch up. I don't know if you're into podcasts, but starting this Friday, we're going to be releasing all of our prior episodes as a podcast. We're going to be doing 2 a week on Tuesdays and Fridays until we get caught up. And then from thereafter, Wednesday's episode will come out Friday, just a few days later. So that's another option, another way to engage with the show.
Podcast.
Podcast for fun.
We did it. Somehow. It only took us a whole week of emails
It was
back
a
and
lot.
forth and texts,
Yeah.
and we did
We
it.
got stuff figured out.
Had
We
to
got
work.
music. We're good to go.
Yeah. All right. So unless anyone else has any announcements, I think it's time to get to a long-awaited episode after that week break. I don't know if I'm speaking for everyone, but I
yes.
need it. I need it. All right.
Absolutely.
You guys get ready to get started then?
Yes, sir.
Is that 11?
Very cool.
Let's go.
So, we continued our adventure as you guys made your way into the small town or village of Torsh, which had a reputation, as you were told, of being rather cleanly, very neat, kind of newish town in the region. Told by your friend Velkin, newly acquired friend Velkin, as she passed here before. Well put together. Eventually, you guys came to know that this place is one of the main wool providers for the larger town / city of Hardcastle, not too far to the east. But as you traveled through this town, the town's reputation of it being cleanly and well put together was not really the case, as you saw all sorts of different types of destruction as you walked down the main thoroughfare. Not too many people in the streets of this small town. Everyone kind of locked up in their homes and abodes. You were directed by some of the Emerald Enclave to the large town meeting hall in the center of the village. But as you got closer and closer to the town hall, you recognized more extensive damage, as kind of one building was off kilter at its base. You also saw signs of large scratch marks kind of breaking its way across another one of the buildings. And as you made your way closer, pretty much to the steps of the town hall, you saw a large pool of what looked like blood, which was kind of an interesting sight to all of you as well. So this cleanly town was not so cleanly as you guys were walking through it. It was almost like a deserted western town is kind of the image I was thinking of. And as you walked up these wide wooden steps into the long townhouse, opening the doors, you saw inside 2 large hearths, kind of with no flame lighting in the middle of the day, but you saw 2 individuals at the far end of the building. One, a large genasi, who's kind of gray and black dreads kind of pulled up tightly, was kind of speaking with a sort of smaller, rotunda man. They seem to be bickering back and forth about probably whatever had transpired here recently. And as you got closer to approach the captain, you walked into a heated conversation about what exactly had gone on here. This was the captain. Her name was Tempest. that you were to kind of directed to ask if you could help in any way about the murders and different things that you heard about around the town. The man that kind of proclaimed himself the self-appointed leader of Torsh told you it really wasn't murders that were happening, but disappearances of livestock. He was kind of angry with the Enclave for not being able to figure out why the livestock of the town was disappearing, and she was angry because her brother was missing, and he seemed to not be able to give any information about his whereabouts or really the attack on the town, other than that they heard a large commotion as the town met here for a feast. They heard a lot of like a scuffle outside, some large roaring and banging, and things being destroyed. And by the time anybody reached the outside, the signs of the destruction have already been the destruction had already been caused. The sheep that were housed outside of the townhouse for the feast were missing, and after doing some investigation, you guys noticed that the drag marks had been led into the forest of the Chandlewood not too far by. Discussing further, you decided to sort of side with Tempest, the captain of the Emerald Enclave, and agreed to help her search for her brother, which you assumed, eventually you guys found out that he charged himself into the forest to find out exactly what had happened to the town during the night, as he was charged to kind of investigate the different activity that has been happening around this area in general. Large beasts kind of attacking caravans and people along the road and in farmsteads and homes around the area. So, after agreeing to do so, with a brief kind of confrontation between Tempest and Velkin, you guys decided to wander into the forest and track whatever this large monstrosity was that had ripped through Torsh. On your way there, you noticed a few things. First was the large, sort of bear-like paw that you and tracks that you guys were following into what looked like just a tunnel that was made in the middle of a forest. So something very large had made its way through this area. 'Cause it almost looked like something had just barreled through here at a forest that was kind of ripped through the trees. And as you were following the tracks, Tempest kind of pulled you aside, Calder, for a moment, and gave you a small little warning about the one of your companions that you now traveled with, Velkin, telling you that it wasn't really anything about her being a drow, but that the drow themselves have been tormenting this area in general, mainly around the Great Rift, Hardcastle, in general area, this region. There have been many attacks, and they've dealt with it a lot. She just gave you a general warning not to trust her, and whatever she was leading you to, it's probably dangerous. A little bit further, you notice that this tunnel that you had been following sort of came to an end or an opening in this in the forest itself, where you saw a large cave after some investigation and some cats flying up into the sky to check and see some different things. You saw two openings to a large cave where a stream kind of ran itself near. Two of you decided to investigate a little bit closer, Ren and Cassis. When you got closer, there wasn't really any signs of too much, except you did see remnants of the sheep, sort of near the pool of water where the pool water was pooling. But whatever had dragged the sheep here, you did not see or find any like signs of the creature. So gaining some confidence, the rest of your loud party decided to trudge on forward. And in doing some more investigation, this creature made itself known. Just as Calder was about to enter into the large cave mouth, the creature was not in the cave, but above it. This creature having the sort of a mishmash of different parts. So the body of a bear, head of a bull, a whole bunch of different things, wings of a dragon. It just looked like a mishmash of a bunch of different parts. And as it landed and breathed out this toxic fume at all of you, the battle ensued. It was rather rough, and as it was defeated and the last strike was given to it, it exploded into a bright blue flame. As you all kind of, some of you took damage, and others had to shade their eyes from the brightness that was emitted from it. After the battle was had, you saw Tempest run into the cave herself, and found her brother laying inside of it, part of his arm missing. He didn't look like the same type of genasi she was, a water genasi, but he was red in color and kind of earthen. He had earthen qualities to him. His hair kind of spiked like different types of crystals, almost into a mohawk-like shape, and a red tint to his skin. Calder, recognizing that he was heavily wounded, quickly went to his aid, stopped any bleeding and any wound or any further bleeding that was happening. Without much word or anything to all of you, Tempest gathered her brother and made her way to back to Torsh, kind of leaving all of you to deal with the aftermath of what had just transpired. But right before we ended, Velkin had sent her friend up into the trees, not too farther by, Erwin's, and it spotted something curious watching over top of all of you. A small little serpent kind of wound its way around one of the large tree branches that overhung the cave, and it was just appearing at you. And as that is where we're going to begin our adventure tonight. As Velkin comes out of her vision for a moment, she says, "We're being watched."
What?
Being watched by what?
She kind of like looks up. Something in the tree. A
Do I see
serpent
anything there? Oh, okay.
or something.
Did try to see it?
Perception checks.
Okay, perception.
Definitely interested
Oh,
in
take
this.
that.
Woo!
Ooh,
Good first roll. 2.
that's a 5.
That's a 4.
5, 4. I like it.
Wow. We're on it today.
All right, 12, middle ground,
Hey,
but pretty good for us so far.
None of you can see this thing she speaks of in the tree, but she kind of looks back to you, Isaiah, and rests her hand on your shoulder. Give me a moment. And she kind of closes her eyes and her vision goes blank once again, as she goes into her friend's vision once more. It's not soon after that she kind of pulls out, and the cat flies and lands on her shoulder like normally and kind of curls up. And she says to all of you, "It wasn't there when I went back into his vision."
And he's
Serpent.
Right.
watching us? What do you mean?
It slithered its way to the end of the branch and was watching us.
Then it was just gone?
Well, I left his vision for a moment.
Do you? Forgive me. I'm not all that learned in the arcane. Could that be another thing? The way that you have a connection with your winged cat there. Another caster's pet.
It could be. Familiars are not rare, but I'm not sure.
The people that caused all the trouble, they're only like a day ahead of us.
Right.
What if that could be?
Exactly.
I mean, it could just be a snake as well, like in a tree, looking down.
That's a fair thought to balance my paranoia.
Even given our luck, though, it's probably not.
Things have been stranger than not as of late. I wouldn't be surprised if it was what we're thinking. As Redrick said, though, it may not be. Either way, it's gone for now. So let's do what we came here to do. We found 2 sheep corpses so far, right? So we're missing about 10.
More or less.
Yeah, either this thing ate them all or this wasn't the thing, right? Maybe we'll do a quick check. Velkin, can you send your cat up to the hilltop just to make sure we're not missing anything up high?
Yeah, give me a moment. She kind of frustratedly once again goes into her familiar's vision. As it flies back up, I'm going to make a perception check for Erwin's. She can see magic or invisibility. I forgot to do that. Okay. 19.
Her cat can see invisibility.
It can.
What?
It is not a cat. It is a Tressum.
Oh, right.
But
Still,
Caller doesn't know.
sick.
it's a cat with wings.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can see.
Exactly.
It can see invisibility. It flies up. You all kind of follow it in your vision, and you see it kind of hovering in a large arcing circle as it takes stock of the perimeter. She says out loud, "I don't see anything else, or anybody." She kind of
Right.
like comes out of the vision for a moment.
Velkin, just out of curiosity, what sort of range do you have when you do that?
It's pretty far. I've never tested its exact range, but it's pretty far.
Okay, because that could have whoever might be watching us might not be anywhere near us.
Yeah.
Well, they aren't.
Well, if there's no more hints here, maybe we should go look at one of the other farms where the sheep were taken from.
Right. Clearly this was a problem that we've dealt with, but not all the problems, so I agree.
I'll just come out of the
Yeah.
cave with like one of those sheep skeletons in each hand. Just like, think you'll pay us for these? We found the sheep.
Maybe. Why don't we take them on the way? We'll cross back through town, drop those off with, what was his name? Small man.
Elliot, I think.
Cocaine.
Fignol.
Yeah.
Fignor?
Ignore. Yeah.
What was his first name? God.
Elliot.
Elliot Fignor.
Yeah.
Hook hand Elliot, they call him. That's
Okay, and
Old hook hand.
old hook hand.
Forgot he
in
had a
Texas,
hook
we
hand.
call them okay.
We'll drop these off with hook hand maybe, and see if we can. There was one farmer in particular he mentioned his sheep getting taken. Maybe we can speak with him, see if he can tell us more.
Is that the farmer whose sheep we just found? The one last night?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Well, we'll check about other farmers outside town then.
Yeah.
See if we can pick up the trail of whatever took them if it wasn't this.
At about this point, it's probably been long enough that Isaiah is trying to restart Ook, who went down in the last fight.
So how are you doing that?
He's probably Isaiah would have cracked open. It's probably the blue flame that powers him is probably dimming as he goes down to the low HP, and he'll take off the shield, take off the gloves he always wears because he's used to dealing with hot stuff, and start crackling some lightning around his hand as he forces a bunch of magic and then just tries to grab the blue stone and just pour as much as he can into it to jumpstart it.
Just go ahead and roll me an intelligence check. You can add your proficiency modifier to it as well.
All right.
Oh, baby.
Hey, that was actually good. 21 total.
21 total.
My man.
As you kind of force this lightning into the stone, you feel it begin to get hotter and hotter as it for a moment. It takes a second. You're not too sure if it's the lightning, the heat from the magic itself onto the stone, until you kind of glance down. You can see the flame getting brighter and brighter until you have to quickly remove your hand as it kind of reignites. You kind of see his eyes glow blue again, and he just sits there with his chest cavity kind of wide open. The flame not fully rekindled, but rekindled enough to seemingly give him enough life.
Oh, he scared me there, buddy. But wait, there was a thing in a tree, a snake watching us. Could
That's
that,
what I saw.
if so, the people we're following were about a day behind them. The farmer who was at the longhouse had all of his sheep stolen. About a dozen.
It wasn't any snake either. It was it had wings as well.
But,
Few points to our theory.
but the rest of everybody, the rest of the sheep are not here. Neither is whoever was taking the sheep before this, because there was no sign that this thing was taking anything. Could it be that the people we've been chasing last night called this thing, but all the sheep that's been happening before is something else?
So
Could that
somebody's
snake have been with them instead of the people we're chasing?
so maybe somebody stole the sheep and then they summoned the monster to cover their tracks.
It seems a bit of extreme to just steal sheep.
Right.
Well, the sheep are the livelihood of this town.
That family, the Hardcastle family that guy's all worried about.
A lot of
Maybe it's a way to
people
harm them.
Could be. It could be something as simple as bandits. Just having to overlap with the people we're following, leaving this fucking thing behind.
Well,
What I'm wondering is if we're only a day behind the people that we're following and we've already killed a giant monster, do we really need to hang around this town or should we try to catch up?
well,
It's a fair point.
did they say the sheep were being stolen in front of us or behind us?
I think behind. I know it was like on the outskirts of town.
To clarify, Elliot, he told you that not only were these sheep stolen, but they were being. It was a problem beforehand, and that was the reason the Emerald Enclave was there in the first place to investigate the disappearances.
Didn't he say there was people disappearing as well?
I don't think so.
Okay.
If I said that, I didn't mean to. It was livestock mainly.
But was that happening between Torsh and Hardcastle or between Torsh and Elvedere?
So you've got information. You got confirmation of both from Elliot.
Okay.
It was the town and the surrounding farms of Torsh, and then Tempest told you that the Emerald Enclave has been policing this place, the road itself, more heavily because livestock and people and things have been disappearing on the road, being attacked by monstrosities similar to the things that you fought.
Yeah, and that's on the road between Torsh and Hardcastle, so that would be on the way.
Behind and in front of you.
Real quick term. Am I familiar in character with the symbology that I'm familiar with out of character for a winged snake?
You can roll me an Arcana check.
Okay. Just making sure. Just double checking.
So do we know that the disappearances
6.
are more monstrosities like this?
You do know what I'm
based
talking
on that
about, right?
information, or
Not. I guess if you're asking me, you were never told that it was the monstrosities. Well, Elliot told you that this thing attacked, but before this thing attacked, the sheep were already missing, and there was no signs or stories of something large, like a creature like this, attacking the surrounding farms or villages.
Yeah, there were no blood pools left behind or anything.
Correct.
Previously, this was
just gone,
distinct and separate.
I mean, it could be someone trying to get in on the business, right? They know Hardcastle wants the sheep. Maybe they're taking them, collecting, building up a supply to go make the sale themselves.
Before we go, I want to check 2 things quick before we get out of here. Ren, you got great eyes. Do you mind helping me with this? I want to see if we can figure out how long this thing has been here. If it's just the 1 or 2 days, and if the thing, if anybody, if we can find any evidence that the thing was being pushed to do this, like wind marks or cattle prods or anything like that.
So just to answer that question, there is no remnant. The body,
Yeah.
there is
Oh,
no
yeah,
remnants.
yeah,
It has
just
exploded.
disappeared.
Right.
But sorry, but the first part, could we check around, see if we can figure out how long it's been here?
You can give me an investigation check, the both of you, if you'd like.
Yeah, let's look around. Do you want me to do it, or do we want to help each other? Or do you
I'll
want to
help
do it?
you.
You'll help me? Okay. Okay, I'll take a look around.
You.
You go.
Which one?
Granddad's
Which
right.
one?
Better than mine.
Who do I trust? I trust. Okay, let's try this one. Okay. So first one is a 16. Ooh, the second one's a 25.
Nice. Ooh.
Very nice.
So with a 25, okay. So you begin to investigate just the general area, a few different places. One where you found the remains of the sheep, in and around the cave itself. It does not look like this thing has been here very long. You don't see any signs of like bedding or any signs that it has been here too long. You probably assume a day or even a few days. Like the tracks are fresh that you see. You don't see anything that are too aged. The cave seems relatively undisturbed, except for maybe recently.
Not too many claw marks, shit
Right.
like that. Yeah. I'll point all of this out to Isaiah. So I guess, yeah, no, I don't think this thing has been here for long. I think it's pretty likely that they summoned it before they left.
Some sort of distraction to get away, maybe. Or
Why do you
Just
summon something
generally-
like that? Would you need sacrifices? Like sheep blood or something?
you would
thought.
probably.
Some kind
I-
of gate, maybe.
Did we?
Do
Well,
I know anything about monstrosity summoning? Aside from the fact that we've been told that there were little gates opening up, probably by Abida.
You'd have to roll me an Arcana check.
we also, to our knowledge, nothing like that happened at Elboulder before all the imps, right?
They just kind of just popped out.
Right.
He left
23.
that same night too. We know that.
Right.
You know the practice of necromancy, and also just general arcane arts. I mean, summoning things like familiars and things like that. You've heard of portals and things being opened in other planes to bring them over. You're familiar with something being summoned like this.
It's probably more likely that there was a gate that they called it through than that they sacrificed and summoned something out of nothing.
I mean,
Ren, you rolled a 25. Is that what you
I
rolled?
did. Yeah.
As you're inside the cave, it is very, very low light here. You're kind of investigating the cave walls. You see at the very, very back center of the cave, the cave wall itself has a darker portion than the rest of the cave. And you kind of stop for a moment as you're running your hand along it, and you pull your hand off and you look, and there's soot on your fingers, like black ash. And you notice as you kind of stop and you look about 6 inches wide, you see it runs the whole way up to the top of the ceiling and kind of down to the floor. Just this ashy substance. As you pull it off, it looks like you stuck your hand in an old fire pit or something. It's black ash as you kind of pull it out.
I'll call over my shoulder to Isaiah and say, what would the signs of something like that be? And then kind of look up at it, and then just a little louder go, "Hey, Velkin,
Yes.
can you come look at something?"
She kind of like, she's obviously agitated. She's like walking in this like gross
Yeah,
environment as she kind
her
of
little heels.
in her heels, and she just walks on through. She kind of gets up next to you. That is odd.
I'm sorry. How
Um,
wide did you say it was?
6
The
inches.
the
It's
soot
just like a line.
the soot
Yeah.
itself. Yeah, so it's like a 6-inch line about this wide that
That's fucking
runs
weird.
from
It's
the
like-
bottom of the cave wall the whole way up to the top of the ceiling.
I'm gonna walk
Perfectly
in
straight.
too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, like the wall itself isn't perfectly straight, so it obviously has
Oh,
some
yeah.
like
Yeah.
curves
Uh-huh.
and
But it looks like
some
someone took a
oddities to it.
paintbrush and just went like, whoop.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Or
Wall
like
of
something
fire.
very hot bifurcated the wall.
Or something. Yeah, it left whatever it was left ash in its place.
I think that could be a scar from a gate opening.
Maybe. I'm gonna try divine sense, just to see if I get any like, because besides like creatures, I can also sense consecration or desecration.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see if I get any desecration from that.
Okay, give me one moment. Okay, so as you kind of close your eyes and reach out with your senses, kind of pulling in that feeling that you once had as you kneeling on the black sands of that beach in one of your visions a while ago, your eyes kind of open. You don't feel anything. You can see Velkin kind of walk up to it, and she puts her head up and like rubs her fingers in the ash and looks at it. It's definitely not natural to this cave, but I can't be certain if it was a gate opening or not.
Well, let's check one thing, and I'm gonna like wipe off a decent portion of it into my hand and just see if there's any like anything behind it or if it's just normal wall, while thinking about whether or not mending works on ash.
So you wipe your hand and you kind of get it on your hand. It's not like you get a pile of it. It just kind of coats your hand, and as you remove it, your hand is now like fully black in color. And you leave a space, a few inches wide in the soot line. Behind it is just natural cave wall.
Well, everything we've been dealing with these folks is blue fire, so ash and soot left behind. I'm willing to bet this was them. But that means that there's still some issue that's going to be going along the farms around here that's hasn't been solved.
Right.
And we still don't even know what happened to the other sheep.
Presumably the other issue. Well, maybe we should take a vote, because there has been some concern expressed as to whether we should stay and try to fix this or not. What do we think? Stay
I think
and
what
help
Ren
or
said
go?
is that we have a day ahead of us. If we try to stay and solve this issue, I'm all for doing that, but they're just going to get further ahead of us, and don't know if we can risk that time.
That's also... it's taking a little guess there that they summoned it the day it attacked. Could have just been sitting in this cave for a couple days.
As far as we can tell, it hasn't been here pretty much
Yeah.
at all. There's no bed, there's no leaf.
There's no signs of cohabitation for a while. There's no like scratches. There's no like,
Besides that, I think Hilkand said that he had seen them pass through town the day before, so...
Yeah, he said, and just to kind of give you guys a reminder, he did say that they were with the gentleman cloak in the red cloak that has been described to you, similar to the attack on the monastery back in Elbador, who made his he left before the people that he was with left, right? So I just wanted to get that. It has been a week, so the little details.
So we got 2 for leaving.
At the very least, I think we should go back, take some time with Tempest, maybe see if there's Frederick. Tempest might be willing to offer us a reward for getting her brother back safe.
Okay.
And, I mean, we could at least spend the night, rest the horses, rest everybody who got hurt, because that last blast was a bitch, and I am not interested in getting right back on the road right now.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to spend the night. I feel
I'm
like
sorry.
we've got more important things to worry about than their sheep.
Did
What
he?
time of
Go ahead.
what time of day is it right now?
It's a little bit later in the evening, I would say, in the afternoon. You guys did arrive here. So it's not quite sundown, but it's definitely in the afternoon.
Okay.
Did he say how much we'd be getting for the sheet?
He didn't. He just said he would give you a reward.
Right.
That was, if you were offering to help him.
Yeah, that was the town. That was for the sheet. That wasn't Tempest for her brother.
Yeah, I also
But I'm
feel
just-
like asking Tempest for a reward is maybe in poor taste.
Oh, no. I didn't mean asking. I just was saying to Redrick, it's a possibility.
Hoping.
I
He would. I mean, the other option is we leave and you take those nice new toys you've got with us. Unless we go back to town.
Talking about Torrance things.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to return them if they're still there.
So maybe we spend the night and then we can double time it in the morning.
I
No,
mean,
I think we need a rest. Some of us who kept our distance seem a little better. I think everyone else can get some rest. We maybe leave as early as possible. Try to gain some distance.
If you insist. Calder says, covered in blood from head to toe.
Yeah, why don't we head back?
And as you guys kind of all are discussing, as you look around to take the vote, and you all remember that Eggvald did disappear after the fight. You don't see him around.
Just looking around, he's nowhere.
You can give me a perception check.
Egg ball! Egg!
7?
No, if yelling's a
You
great
don't see
idea
him.
right now.
We just made a whole lot of noise before.
Into the picture.
Fair enough.
Oh,
Okay.
shit.
Is
Rin.
Draco running around?
You can give me a perception check.
My cat. What's my cat up to?
Egg, you do hear Cassis yelling your name.
15.
You do see him. He's perched on top of the cave, like almost exactly where the beast had made his appearance. And you see
Look at him and like,
Yeah. he's just kind of like
the-
laying there, lounging.
buddy, can you try to find Egg for us? Do that?
No. Just continues to lick his paw.
It's a no. So I think we're on our own.
Ren, you got to be able to see who you connect with.
I do, yeah.
Oh, so from having to hear my name being called, there is no response.
All right,
Okay,
well,
let's
shit.
split
Split
up.
up and find him.
Yeah. I think I still have a mental
Tracks.
connection to Castus and Isaiah. So we can split up that way.
Okay.
Not for nothing, but you might need some time. I mean, certainly at least 3 of you are familiar with the concept of needing some time alone.
Do
could
we
be
want
dead.
to wait here?
Oh, no. Just keep shouting, let him know. Just say, we're going back to town.
I don't know if we want to leave him here alone.
I mean, we probably killed the biggest thing for a mile.
All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Since it's a straight shot, because you can follow that damn tunnel that the thing made.
Yeah.
How about I'll stick around, wait for Egg to pop back, and I'll head back with them. If someone wants to keep you company, that's fine. If everyone else wants to go, just go, and we'll meet up at you at town. How's that sound?
how far was the walk to get out here? It's like hours, right?
It was like an hour at maximum. You guys didn't travel too far into the
That's a
tunnel.
lot better than I thought.
Not too bad.
I mean,
All right.
we could have Ren keep in touch. Need anything?
Yeah.
Let us know. I mean, it'll be a minute before we get there. Hopefully you don't. But
The
mean,
connection will
I
last
think
for
we'll be
3
fine.
hours.
Up,
Alright.
up to
Alright,
what
cool.
distance? A mile?
Right.
A mile, yeah.
So we'll lose you
yeah.
when we, like on the way back, we'll lose you.
Yeah.
We'll just keep connection as long as we can, and maybe he'll pop in before you guys even reach town. So and then we'll catch up. But
And
you guys can go ahead, head out, and I'll stay and wait for Egg.
I'll stay with you.
just
we heading back then?
Yeah, if it gets dark, come on back because he might just walk into town instead of coming back here. Depending on where he went, unless he's already back that way.
Shout one more time. Egg! You're at the cave. Just come on back. Walk home.
Just shake some dog treats.
What the fuck?
No,
Shake
you
some-
gotta do it with the
I have an
jalapenos.
idea. Egg! I understand if you need some time alone, but we're all kind of hungry.
Yes.
All right. So what is it? So with the second call, I made a wisdom saving throw. I'll make another one, but at advantage. Oh, okay. That was a really bad one. So, funny enough. All right. So I rolled a natural on that one. I rolled a natural 1 and a natural. So, it was just being transparent. Surprisingly, from the call of that, you end up having to hear, I guess, from wherever the party is congregated. If you guys are outside of the cave, maybe about 50 or 60 so feet away, a little ways into the tree line, you end up having to hear. 1 minute, Corey.
No worries, take your time. I'll
be
just
right
look at the
back.
others like, worked.
So are we waiting here for him then?
No, you guys go. You guys go. Like I said, I'll wait. Calder want to wait with me. We'll stagger.
Yeah, y'all head back.
Feel better.
We'll catch up.
Sure. No time to waste.
Yeah, I feel better knowing he's okay.
Throw the sheep over my shoulder.
It's a frightening image.
Yep.
You want to just leave
I
that
got
for
him.
Egg? He can make some stew later. But
I mean, we could just buy them off him after we. Anyway.
So you guys head back to Torsh, following the tunnel that you had followed to get here, correct?
Yeah.
The long, beast-made tunnel in the forest of the Chondawood. Isaiah, Redrick, Ren, and Velkin all head back. After a few minutes, Eggval, what do you decide to do?
Yeah, so after a few minutes, I eventually get my shit together. And I'll walk back over to where I know the where the cave is. And see what the sitch is.
You see Calder and Cassis probably tending to some of their wounds. How long do you say you? How long do you say you were? Away.
I don't know how long the conversation is, but probably since the end of the fight, maybe about a good 20-ish minutes. But when I eventually end up having to walk out, though I still have my longsword, I'm walking out. I'm walking out with a walking stick, which I have had. I didn't really say that I had one, but I do have a walking stick / staff, kind of had on my back. That I'm using kind of, I guess a little bit as like more of, looks like I'm holding it more out of like comfort because I'm like walking with it, and then to see you guys, I kind of like sort of just rub it and look at it every once in a while. But
You all right, buddy?
no, yes, it's a lot.
You can say no. It's okay.
No, where's everyone else?
Oh, they started heading back.
Oh, okay.
We wanted to give you some space, and so but we didn't want you to walk back alone, so that's why we're here.
Did you guys find anything else?
Not much, I'm afraid. figured out we were being watched by something, someone, maybe.
What do you mean?
Some kind of winged serpent might be at least a guess. It might be a familiar, something like Vilkin's winged cat.
Wait,
He's
so
the one who
like
saw it. We didn't.
first cats with wings, then snakes with wings?
Yeah, a lot of damn wings.
This forest is weird. Okay. Are you guys okay? Do you need any help?
I'm great.
I'm
Bleeding.
okay. Holder is a little worse for wear, but
I'm fine. I'm fine.
What is it? I will touch both of you, and I will cast at first level Cure Wounds. So I will roll independently. So Cure Wounds, I believe, is a D8. Where's it? What the fuck is a D8? Come on.
What is a D8?
Fuck.
Is it-
how is D8?
All right.
Yeah. Is it
Was it-
plus
so-
anything?
Yes. Let me double check. So that is a D8 plus my spell.
I think it's charisma.
Yeah. Plus my spell casting ability modifier. So that is charisma. So it should be a +4. I dropped my 1d8. Where the okay? There's another d8. All right. So, Castus, you heal 5 points.
Terrific, thank you.
Holder, you heal 8 points.
You have doubled my current hit points.
Just see it kind of him, Cassius kind of just, his shoulder kind of just a little bit, and it's like, perfect, I'm at full health.
Calder's bleeding slightly less. Thanks.
One little nick mark.
Yeah,
Heals on
like
Castus,
one
yeah.
cut on his cheek heals.
Ow.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
How long ago did everyone else leave? How long was I gone?
20, 30 minutes, I think.
Not long, not too long.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm sorry.
that's all right, buddy.
I don't
So-
know.
You want to
You would
talk
start
about it
hitting-
at all?
Lad-
Or?
Let's just go back. Let's try to catch up. If that's okay.
How about a
Fine.
little walk and talk? Do you want to? I mean, you don't have to discuss, but is there anything? I don't know. I hear talking helps sometimes. Can't say I've practiced it much myself, but I hear good things.
He chuckles. Or I chuckle. Looked very similar to Dragon. Been told a lot of stories, not very good. I guess wasn't expecting. Caught off guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Scary
Is-
thing.
Is this how you felt after drinking the water? The rite of passage?
I don't know.
Not too dissimilar, I don't think. You start seeing things, and when you of taking that information, you get you're thrown off. So it's not too dissimilar.
I'm hesitant to compare just because I don't know exactly what you're feeling now. Is there a significance to dragons in particular for you?
I shake my head. Just not to the answer, but just kind of more of like trying to clear my head. When I was very young, long time ago, a dragon in mountains we lived nearby had bothered us, attacked us, pestered us. And one day we got tired of it. I was very young, a child, younger even. And my father was really great warrior. Went with the rest of who fought. But he didn't come back. Was told he was integral part of having to make Dragon leave, but was told a lot of stories of the dragon. Not very good ones. Some okay, but not very good.
I see.
Sorry.
That's,
Out,
yeah.
out, outside of Redrick and seeing Puppy was really weird. Kind of first encounter, not used to it. Not okay.
Well, that's a hard thing. You had someone important taken from you. I understand. That
All
that
of us
can't be
can
an easy
relate to that.
can't be an easy thing to be reminded of.
I'm sorry you two felt this way, if not the same. It doesn't feel okay. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
We
We all
need to
have our
apologize.
yeah. We all have our burdens to bear.
Let's try to catch up if we can. I'm kind of tired about it.
All right. We'll get back
Let's
and
go.
figure out what we can. Get some rest.
On the way back with the other two I'm with, or I guess three, I'll try and like split the difference between everyone and say like just low enough like under my breath that they can hear, but like anyone further away probably couldn't. Just like don't react too much to what I'm saying, but I think I know who's watching us through that snake. Kind of just like look around to make sure it's not around.
Perception check.
All right.
I'll send a message to
Six.
Ren, saying maybe being able to let her know that we are on our way.
Okay. You hear in your head. This is going to be a little bit ahead of time. So, but yeah, okay. You send her a message. You do not see any signs of a snake with wings.
Cool,
What
Frederick.
exactly do you think you know?
Well, know that the people I work for like to check in every now and then. That's all. Winged snake ain't exactly unusual for them.
For the people you work for, people who we can't know who they are.
Yep.
Oh, all right. That's not cryptic at all.
As long as the job's getting done, everything should be alright, but just something thought I should let you know.
Are they the kind of people that would be stealing a whole bunch of sheep?
Not likely. Unless there was a lot of profit in it.
Well, if the town runs on it, there's got to be at least enough for the town.
Sheep isn't really up their alley, per se, but hey, who knows?
And this. So the only thing you were told about Sloan was it was some merchant, right?
Owed a debt. Yeah, I was supposed to collect on it.
Could he have been one of you?
Could have. Wouldn't be the first time someone borrowed from them, wouldn't pay back. Had to go collecting.
Well, could he have been one of you in that he would also have this snake as a sidekick?
It's possible. They don't get too happy when someone leaves. But I know nothing about the guy, right? Just a name. But just something to be aware of if you see it creeping. Wouldn't get too worried, but also wouldn't call him out on it too much.
Well, that's the other side of the coin. People you work for money. So if we're in a tight spot, but we happen to see somebody hanging about, maybe make an offer?
Oh, I wouldn't recommend borrowing from them.
No. Paying for help.
Ah, could work out. I don't know. How many meat do you want in the party?
Slightly less than we had. No.
Understood.
I think one might be enough.
Well, if I see him hanging around, see what the going rate is. They might also be looking for the same guy. So.
Oh, well, I mean, they might have also just been impressed, like I was, that you jumped on that fucking thing's back. That was ballsy. Stupid, but ballsy.
Yeah, that was really dumb.
Very stupid.
Yeah,
cool, though.
looking back on it, maybe not the best idea. Yeah, I was afraid it would fly away. I think it's not really more of an instinct than that.
Well,
That's
yeah,
going on.
no.
Oh yeah, no, it was clearly not thought through.
Thank you, appreciate that.
I mean, to be fair, it solves the issue of having to get closer if it moves away, right? Well, except for
Unless
when
it turns
teleported
into
and you got
mists.
screwed, yeah.
What the fuck is going
Yeah.
on with that?
I think we still did all right. Not as good as with the other hyena looking things, but
Yeah, nothing else has kind of exploded that bad before, though.
Yeah. Say that again.
My head is still ringing.
That was really bright. I wonder how far away they could see that.
I wonder how far away the gate is from that cave. Maybe
I
someone should
think-
look into
I'm
it.
not convinced it's not in the cave.
The big one or the one that's up that this thing came through?
This thing.
I think it might have been a temporary thing, and that's what that. We found some soot in the back of the cave. I think that was the
Oh yeah, we didn't tell you that.
cutting through the wall a little bit.
Oh. Typical magic indicator. Yeah, gotcha.
Have I heard from Estes yet, by the way?
At this point, it's probably like 20 minutes or so before you hear from Castus on your walk. So eventually you would hear the voice inside your head, appear at about this point.
Oh, hang on. Egg's back. They're on their way.
Excellent.
Great.
Oh,
I'll just send back a-
I gotta thank him for.
Yeah, just stay safe. See you at the town. Roger, Roger.
Alright, let's see if we can't get anything for these. Ugh. And I'll like fall back in a normal pace, and like if we have, just idle conversation, doesn't have to be under my breath anymore.
Okay. Are you guys waiting for your party members, or are you continuing on?
They'll catch up.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a wide path. I'm not too worried about them getting lost.
And if they're coming too, I can stay in contact with them. So
And we'll probably hear Castus if he has to shoot anything. So has to or decides to. Either way.
Could get off the side of the road and ambush them.
That seems like a good way to get put back in the bottom of a river or something.
yeah,
True.
Yeah, what happened last time you threw a pebble at him?
it would have been more fun if, like, before Calder sprouted those freaky wings.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was new. I mean, I have no idea what Calder is, so that's if that's a thing that's gonna happen now. Yep.
Seems like
Learning fun new things about ourselves.
Yeah, fun is definitely the word.
Oh yeah.
Well, we'll just make sure to keep Calder pointed at the guys we don't like. And I'm
That has
sure
never
it'll
happened
work
to you
out.
before.
Oh no, that was certainly a first.
Sprouting wings? No, none of
Yes.
us have done that.
She kind of like you can see her take like notes of it in her head.
I wonder if
I
I
just-
could like make him some canvas or something to sit, because it was just bones, right? So
Like he lied?
yeah,
They're in
That's
the
an interesting
glider
idea.
briefly.
I wonder how long he can like maintain them.
yeah, because it might take a while to like latch things onto him.
Calder's probably like all freaked out about his scary wings, and Ruben and Isaiah are like, maybe we can make him glide.
Nobody's talked to him about it yet. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Someone's going to.
And that day, Calder flew too close to the sun. Oh boy.
They call me Icarus back home.
Okay. Eventually, the party that's heading back to Torsh gets there, a little bit ahead of the other three. And as you do, if you remember me telling you that the edge of the Trondlewood pretty much sits at the edge of Torsh. And as you kind of come out, you begin to hear a commotion. A lot of voices towards the center of town.
Well, I guess Tempest is back.
It's
Probably
almost like
check that
a
out.
gathering of people, right? You hear...
Are they like shouting or just a lot of people talking?
It's shouting, kind of a mix. You occasionally hear like a louder voice come out, and then another one, and then you can just hear the general rumblings of people activity.
How much you want to bet old Hook Hands over there?
I'll start moseying that way. Kind of try to see what's going on.
I'm gonna set up me and Uke because Ren is much better at talking than we are. I'm gonna set up behind Ren, like me and Uke flanking like security guards.
Okay.
Just be like, oh yeah, we'll take your lead on this.
Little one does the talking.
I'll just be hood up in the back.
You all, it isn't too far away until you see the cause of the commotion. As you kind of round the corner of the main town hall here, you see a large group, probably about 40 or so people, have gathered at the steps and up the steps to the large door of the town hall. As you approach, you see a larger man, dressed in just like commoner's clothing, long, like brown, scraggly hair, fresh shaven, but you can tell that this man has seen some hard work, hard manual labor in his time. His tan skin shows that he spends a lot of time outside and in the sun, and in labor. You see him pound initially. Elliot, come out here and explain what's going on. And you hear the crowd behind. Ah, get out here! And as they all take notice of you and Redrick carrying a large sheep carcass on his back, Isaiah and Ook standing behind Ren, they all kind of, the yelling kind of turns into loud murmurs. Hey, those are the ones that went inside. They kind of all turn to you. Tell him to get out here! Another one.
Mentally to Castus. Maybe you guys should pick up the pace a little bit. Things are getting a little weird in town. And then
I relay and we start moving.
the people, to the guy that was yelling, I'm just going to say, we've only been gone a couple of hours. What's happened? What's changed?
What's changed? I'll tell you what's changed. And at that
Okay,
point,
you don't have to yell at me to do it. I'm right here.
The door. And you see the small, round, rotund man in the hook kind of pull the door open, and you see him kind of saying, "All right, everybody, all right. They're all here to help. That's the reason I hired them. They're going to figure out exactly what happened to the Fisher's farm. I promise you, I have no idea what is going on." What do you mean you have no idea what's going on, Mr. Self-Appointed Leader? The farm's completely disappeared. There's a massive hole in the ground.
Wait,
How do
hey,
you
hang
not
on,
know what's
hang on.
going on?
Hi, hey, a farm disappeared? Hi, I'm sorry, can I get a few more details on that?
Everybody calm down. They are here to investigate. The Emerald Enclave, they're making their way out. We are going to begin letting people into the city. Business is going to resume as normal. Everyone, calm down. And you hear the voices begin to rise a little bit louder and louder as Elliot turns to your group and begins to wave you guys closer, like in a panic desperation.
I'll take the lead and try and like split the crowd in front of everyone. It's like, out of the way, move it.
Are you
Come-
carrying a dead sheep on your back?
Exactly. They'll step back anyway. It's more of a deterrent.
Oh!
love
You see
this.
people begin to like move out of your way quickly. as you all scurry up the stairs and push through the crowd, the yelling and begins to increase and increase until eventually you all make your way into the town hall and the door.
I'll slam it behind me. If there's like
What
a
happened?
latch.
I don't know. I'm not cut out for this job. God damn it! And he begins to quickly trot his way back to the bench. You can see him gathering some papers and shuffling some things around. I have no idea, but this is my last day. I promise all of you, I'm not doing this ever again.
Hey, I don't really care about that. So why is everybody angry? Our farm disappeared. When?
Well, apparently, whenever you all left, a mob formed in the center of town, telling me that the Fisher's farm has completely sunk into the ground. A massive hole, thousands and thousands of feet wide, has just appeared and has swallowed their farm. I don't know. I don't know what to do.
That's a shame. How much for the sheep?
You just plop this like that. Oh,
Yeah.
dear Lord. I'm going to be sick. I honestly going to be sick.
Wait,
Takes a deep
calm down. Look at me. Don't look at the sheep. Look at me.
He looks down at the sheep back at you.
Nope, stop it. Look at me.
Mac, I believe you're
What?
first,
His head's
by the
missing.
way. Video.
Where
His head's
is
missing.
the Fisher's farm?
A mile outside of town.
Towards
Direction?
to what?
Southwest.
Okay.
A humble family.
Are the Fishers here, or is everybody else up in arms?
Everybody else is here. The Fishers are gone.
Did Tempest return?
I don't know.
Okay.
What we're gonna do,
Please get the sheep off of my desk.
Frederick? Do you mind?
It's just like a slow, like, pool coming out of the this like ripped apart body.
I mean, just think about it. It's not going to be your desk for too much longer, so it's not going to be an
He's
issue.
right. Pick it up.
Now.
drop it on the
Dean kind of like visibly relax him just for a moment as he looks down at the sheep.
We need to find out what has happened. Tempest and her brother, Torin, should have come back. They haven't. Something is wrong. We will find them and figure out what happened to them. And I suppose we will have to go and take a look at this giant hole in the ground before we leave.
Well, it's better than you than me.
Thanks for volunteering us. That was real swell of you. Do you have any useful information to give us before we go try to clean up your mess?
I haven't left this building since you all left.
Yes.
Okay, good.
It's
Okay,
a
that's
mile.
that's
You
about
can
what I
make
figured.
it.
Did you figure out what stole the sheep?
No. Well, not in general. Last night specific, yes, and it's dead. But in general, no.
He gulps for a deep gulp.
Yeah. I guess let's go see if Tempest ever made it back.
Where, if somebody came back to town injured, where would they go?
I'm not sure. We don't have any kind of medical professional in Torsh.
Or just,
We
did
usually-
Tempest get back? Did you see him come through?
I haven't left the building since you left. He seems
Where's
like
the Emerald
physically-
Enclave set up?
You knew that they were set up at the entrance of town at the barricade.
She probably took him to the barricade. Shouldn't bring him back here. This guy's not gonna help.
Let's swing to the north edge of town, pick up the others, and then head to the barricade, I guess. And try and get more information.
Please, if you find anything out, you have to come back and tell me. I have to report this. The Hardcastle family is not kind whenever their business is disturbed.
Well, as long as the Hardcastle family's got money, we'll be right on back.
They have a lot of that. Take this with you, please.
You're such a weenie.
I mean, it's
Head's
gonna be
missing.
dinner. How would it just be ours?
Such a weenie.
It's literally leaving
Yes.
a pool of blood on the floor right now. It has no head, and
If
half
you
of
want,
its guts are hanging out.
if you want it
Yeah,
gone,
we found it.
pay me to carry him out. I mean,
I will pay you to carry it out.
Great.
Here's 5 gold.
10 gold.
You just kind of
10 gold.
10. We're not
It's-
debating this.
It's
Alright, then
very
looks like you got
important to
sheep
you.
on your floor.
Give me your persuasion check with advantage.
Alright. I got this. Alright.
I can't believe you guys are stiff arming this guy right now.
That'll be a. Where's persuasion? That'll be a 23.
Fine! And he kind of opens a drawer up really quickly, and you hear some coins rattling as he
Friend's
slams
just
the
gonna
drawer.
grin and hold out her hand.
10 gold, get it out of here!
Thanks! It's a pleasure doing business with you.
Alright.
And 5 gold to Roderick.
Pleasure doing business. Pocket it.
You see him just kind of slump in the chair, put the hook over his head, and I am retiring after this week. So what's the plan?
Okay. Yeah.
North, pick up the other guys, and then... Well, first we get out, and I make Ook walk in front of us with his arms spread wide, just to make a nice big path.
Yeah, and as you open the door, the crowd kind of like quits banging as Ook leads the charge, and they all just kind of wide-eyed step back. You hear gasp and like whispers and what the hell is that? Things of that nature. As they all kind of create a open path for you, as you.
All right. And then I suppose we head back towards where we came from the woods into town to meet up with others and tell them what happened.
Yeah, you probably have to wait about 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes or so, because they were that far behind you. It was probably a 5-minute conversation that you had with Elliot. But eventually they do make their themselves known as they emerge from the Chondawood. Unscathed and alive.
Oh, what's been going on?
Redrick's still holding a dead sheep.
Well, I was gonna say I'll just like dump it like literally on his stairs, just like right there
It's
outside of
just
the
on
front
the
door.
stairs.
Yeah.
Where the people are.
Yep, just right outside of the front door.
Well, some big more magic shit is happening.
We're not
Love
leaving,
that.
are we?
The whole farm just disappeared.
God,
Sank right into the earth.
And now there's a big
Yeah.
thousands of feet hole in the ground. So I figured this sounds certainly like shit that's been happening along the path of our friends. So at the very least tonight, before we go to bed, it's only a mile outside of town. Head out there,
All right.
take a look, come on
yeah.
back. But
Are the people who were there gone as well?
as far as we
Yeah.
can tell, yep.
Well,
They're missing.
fuck.
But
It's.
Yeah.
Should we go right now or should we rest first? Because looking at all of you again, y'all still look pretty fucked up, and I think some of us are tired. And if there's something, if this just happened, if this just happened and it's starting to get dark, if there's anything still there, we could die.
I could use a quick rest. I mean, I'm pretty.
Maybe
feeling
it's
pretty
like a-
alright.
Our breather or
Yeah.
something.
Sure.
I'm okay. I can run. I'm more worried about you guys.
I'm okay
I don't-
myself, but Calder's still. He's
I'm-
just oozing blood
God
right now.
damn it, Castus, mind your own business. I'm fine.
as long as the
I
next thing
don't-
doesn't explode, I'll be alright. But we should
I don't.
You see Vulcan kind of do a motion with her hand, and you're beginning to stink again.
Oh, you got any more of that? I got some sheep. Just
I don't think any magic could stop you from. Sure. And she kind of waves the blood away.
Are all drow this fucking rude, Velkin?
Most of us, yes.
Oh shit.
Anyway,
You know,
we were
I don't.
figuring we should go over to the barricade, check in on Tempest and Torn, drop off Torn's things, and
Sure.
see if anybody there knows anything about this hole opening up.
All right. Why don't we do that? We'll have a brief sit down, and then we'll head out to the farm.
I do want to say, if we sit down, I could make some food and help everybody out.
I do love food.
Sounds great.
It was
Oh,
good.
do you want some mutton? We just left it up at the longhouse.
Ooh, I don't know
Did you
about.
say mutton?
I
don't-
don't. I
Eat
don't.
good
I don't.
I
know.
make really good mutton. Promise.
No,
It's
egg.
very
Not
good.
today. Not today. I don't want to eat whatever's.
But why would
been
you
chewing
waste
off of that
mutton
thing.
like that? Mutton's
those
very good.
Those are from. They're probably rotten.
That's someone else's
For me,
food.
They got
It's
taken
for me.
yesterday. I mean,
For me, sometimes hard to come
they're
by.
not that bad.
Mutton's really good.
Maybe another time, Egg.
Okay.
We'll
Get
be
the-
passing through sheep country for a while, so
Yeah,
We'll have-
we'll find you something good.
I'll keep using rations for now. I'm okay with that. Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, on to Tempest.
Okay, so you end up heading to the other end of town. At this point in the day, it is beginning to get towards nighttime. There is still a little bit of that purpley orange to the sky as the sun's beginning to set. But you do find activity at the barricade. When you arrive, you can see that Tempest and Torrent are now near a cart. Tempest has loaded Torrent into the back of this cart, kind of laid some straw and some things, and it looks like she's made him comfortable as he lays in the back of this. You can see her beginning to pull it and issuing orders to the other three that were guarding the gate at the time. The half-elven woman, the man who was taking the ledger, and the Goliath individual. As you approach, I was hoping you'd all arrived.
Yeah, I'll take Torrent's sword and shield out from my pack and hand him over. How's he
thank
doing?
God. I believe he will be all right, but I have to take him back to Hardcastle. His wounds are severe. It will take some time for him to recover. We have a base of operations set up from outside of the city. But I'm assuming all of you have heard of the commotion.
A
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you this much, and she kind of looks past all of you. It has since some of the crowd turning around. But as far as my compatriots here report, they heard, or rather felt, a large rumbling, almost as the ground beneath them was shaking. It sounded like an earthquake of sorts. There are reports that an entire farm has been swallowed. We have not been out to investigate it. It's not really our job, but if it has anything to do with what we just fought, I'm sure you all would be interested.
If that thing was your job, this feels pretty fucking in your wheelhouse, not gonna lie.
Well, if I am not ordered to do so, I am not going to do so.
All the
are
same,
you
we'll.
leaving now or tomorrow?
I am leaving immediately. These three are going to stay here and hold the barricade.
Yeah, we're gonna head out shortly and see what we can see.
If you don't mind, report your findings to these three here, just so we can have an official record in our logs.
Sure.
Everybody wants a report.
The rumbling happened a couple of hours ago, you said?
Apparently, almost immediately after we left.
Almost immediately.
Yeah,
It's like someone was waiting. Maybe.
but they would have had to.
I'm just gonna whisper to Calder real quick. I have one spell left, but do you think if I helped out her brother, would that be okay? I wouldn't have anything left if something happened in the hole.
I'd save it. I gave him a little healing back at the cave. And right now, it just needs time. And
You
we
sure?
might need your we might need your spell later. Could run
Okay.
into trouble at the farm.
Okay, sounds good.
Before I leave, I did acquire this off the individual before that was trying to escape. I believe he ran into you. She points to you, and don't tell my compatriots, but here. And she hands you, Isaiah, a large, what looks like brown satchel. She kind of tosses it to you.
Oh,
I haven't counted it, but thank you.
No thanks necessary, but these are appreciated. We will put them to good use. And all of you were here when this farm thing happened. Nobody's. So, this is probably a stupid idea to go take a look, but
The large Goliath figure, Tempest waves over. Yes? Explain to them what you saw, or at least what you felt and heard, whenever we left. Yes, ma'am. The ground literally began to rumble under our feet. It sent the crowd into a panic. We heard what sounded like a landslide. If you've ever heard one of those, he kind of looks at all of you. And then it ceased. Then there began to be a commotion within the town and the crowd saying that the farm had disappeared. A massive hole was created.
this
It's-
was a mile away. Did you? It's hard to say after the fact, but while the ground was rumbling, did it get stronger and weaker? Like it was
Well,
moving?
It was
or
odd
did it-
because there was an initial shake,
Yes.
and then a longer one that went on for a while.
Did you happen to see anything?
We were more or less under crowd control here, keeping these people calm.
I spent a lot of time underground. That sounds like there was an explosion and then a cave in.
Was anyone near it when it happened? Like any townsfolk, or did anyone go there since that you know of? I mean, do we know if it's safe?
Some of the neighbors, the surrounding farms, were the ones who reported initially, came into town screaming something had happened.
Shit.
But that's all I know. He looks back to Tempest. Thank you. They are going to report what they find. Make sure we take note of it. Kind of gives her a nod. Hey, you! Get back in line! You hear him yell at another person.
Oh? Oh.
Well, so
You think it was an explosion then?
Sounds like something underground blew up and then caused a cave in that followed after it weakened something. But if it's thousands of feet underground, that'd have to be probably really old.
I guess under same lines of logic, if something's underground, then that means there has to be some way to get underground.
That
Falcon.
Tempest, do you know if there's anything that would lead underground here in town?
In town?
I know it's weird. I know it's a weird question, but
Not that I know of, no. I've only
Hmm.
been here a short time, but
to
Calder,
the south is the mountains.
Calder looks to Velkin.
kind of looks back at you.
Your people live underground, don't they?
They do?
Around here?
I'm not from around here.
Familiar with any entrances?
Around here?
I mean, shit, maybe you have maps.
Like
You're
I
smart.
said, not from around here.
All right, well, we know of one entrance.
Let's just go check
I-
out the farm and
Fucking
See.
steep one.
I have one more question. Tempest, have you been told of any cave systems nearby? Because if
No.
nothing man-made, there must be something natural, especially if that deep.
Not that we know of. I mean, the majority of this is plains.
Do you think anybody would know in town?
You could ask around.
Okay. Thank you.
It's getting late. We should either, if we're going to go tonight, we should go now.
Yep.
As it is, we're already going to need some sort of light when we get there.
Honestly, it doesn't sound that dangerous from what I'm hearing. If the neighbors went and checked it out, I think we'd be fine without taking a breather.
I got that covered.
Well, I mean, we
Light.
have a little while here, but once we're done here, then we'll move on.
All right.
I
Let's have a
believe
quick
we-
breather and get a
yeah.
move on then.
Okay, so are you guys taking a short rest then in here? Or are you?
Sounds like.
Yeah.
Short rest.
So you
During
guys
the short rest, I will
sort
hand
of
the
okay.
bag to Ren for counting. As far away from Redrick as possible.
That was such a quick counter.
Yes.
And if we are going to be doing a short rest, I will try to make it a quick meal for everybody. And while doing so, I am going to be using Song of Rest. This time, I guess, kind of. There was not really more of uplifting, but I guess just sort of seeing more of a mournful / sorrowful tone / song. And I guess in a language that nobody would really understand. That is kind of like sort of like low and melodic at first, and then kind of like rises and gets higher and seems to come to like a crescendo, and then sort of happens to fall back down more kind of at like in sort of like a peaceful manner by the time that we come to the end of the rest. So, but yeah, at the end of short rest, by spending 1 or more hit dice, each of those creatures regains an extra 1d6 hit points. The extra hit points increase when you reach. Yeah, okay. So right now it's 1d6. So
What do we get?
While we're resting, while we're sitting and chilling, I'm gonna kind of sidle up next to Calder. Like, so, those wings.
Real quick, I'm sorry. What's the D6? What'd you roll? What are we getting?
I rolled a 5
Nice.
off my ducky die. So
Back at full.
Yes. So, those wings, were those a kind of a thing that because of what we are, or because of what you do?
The wings on the creature? The monster?
Your wings. You do know you sprouted wings, don't you?
Cassis, you got a funny idea of a joke.
No.
He's telling the truth. You hear Vulcan just a distance off.
Had wings.
I look around at the whole group.
Yep.
Wings, yeah.
Well,
But is that not under control, Calder? Could that be
I
the
mean,
case?
it looks. It was bones, but it looked like wings without, the
different wing
flesh.
bones.
Yeah,
Cool.
it was weird but cool. I think it was
Yeah.
a good thing.
It was like kind of scary too, and your voice did this like weird little like whoa. I don't know. It was like multiple voices. Did you notice that?
No.
Okay.
Much scarier than the dragon boy turning into what he turns into, to be honest.
All right. Well, I think they're evenly scary, if you ask me.
But he grows wings. You don't.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, you had wings. I don't know if that was because what you are versus what you do.
I don't know. You said they were skeletal?
Yeah, I mean they weren't the prettiest to look at, but they were there.
I don't know. That doesn't sound like it stacks up to what you said we are.
well,
Kind of sounds like it stacks up to me, though.
didn't mean to like put you down or make you upset or anything like that. I just thought maybe it was like something I could do too, because that would be
I don't know.
okay. Okay, yeah. No, yeah. Finish your stew. Finish your food. And we'll maybe come back to this if you can actually remember doing it. And Cassius is going to kind of get up. He's going to kind of sit, and for fun, he's going to try to focus on kind of the feeling in the energy he usually would feel whenever he would cast light or use the healing ability, and see if he can sprout his wings. So I want to attempt to use that ability. Does anything happen?
You sit and you close your eyes. You focus on that that same energy that you usually focus on when you cause light, or that warm feeling, almost like a father giving his child a hug. Whenever you cast your healing spell, nothing. It's almost as if you've been struck with like a deep sadness, that almost that empty feeling of loss hits you for a brief moment before you kind of shake it off and feel.
Okay. As he kind of slumps a little bit and kind of like, okay, all right.
Calder's he's not saying anything out loud, but looking pensive, just thinking in his head, like, what the fuck am I?
And to add to that, as you kind of come out of that for a moment, Draco, you see come out of the weeds where you guys have kind of set up your camp. Just plops himself down in your lap. Begins to purr a little bit. Scritches. Well, this got heavy quite quickly. You see Velcom begin to like thumb through a book. I'm not finding any reports of any underground activities from around here.
Something new then, not something old.
I mean, I could be wrong too. It's just that's what it sounded like. And I've been afraid of cave-ins for quite a while, so I learned to. I tried to learn what the signs were.
And my expertise, just let me be clear, is not in geological happenings or anything like that. Or my people, they are, vastly spread across all of Faerun. So if there is drought activity here, I do not know about it.
We were warned by Tempest they would be around.
You were what?
Wait, no. We were... Sorry.
I think someone mentioned that drow were causing a problem in the town, or had been in the past. I don't know.
People certainly react badly to people they don't like. I think the only thing I'm worried about is it definitely doesn't sound like it was something moving underground, burrowing. So at least we don't have to worry about anything that big that can burrow underground. Because that will swallow us whole.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, DM. What I maybe not have encountered, but at least have heard of anything that would be maybe not big enough, but at least something large that does burrow underground and could at least, create some holes, landslides, that type of thing.
Give me a nature check.
Okay. All right. Oof. That is a 10 total.
I mean, you've heard of different rumors and stories of beasts burrowing into the ground. Nothing that would cause a cave in this large. If it is a
Okay.
cave in, or you're not too sure.
Okay.
After a little while of bandaging wounds and everything, Isaiah will walk back over the barricade to the person with the book, and just be like, it seems like we might not get back to the place tonight. I was wondering if we could take care of this real quick before I, maybe go get myself killed.
The name?
Indira Bakshi.
I guess you're making me rush. Kind of begins to look through the book.
Isaiah will pull out 2 extra gold coins between his fingers and be like, it's worth the tip.
Just in case, give me a moment. Begins to flip. You said, I took some time and I looked through past ledgers. Unfortunately, I do not have anything under that name. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
Did she belong to a certain group or people that you know of that she may have been traveling with, or?
She was looking at those order fellas. What was it, the Blue Flame? But that's over in Ormpetar. I don't know that they'd come out this way.
None of the order have come since we have set up here. I mean, we haven't been here for very long, a month's time.
Alright. Well,
Apologies for the disappointment, friend. Keep your money.
Alright. Well, it's good to know. Knowing is half the battle. And he'll walk away. Back to the group to sit down for the rest of the rest.
Speaking of money, Ren's going to count that sack.
Hey.
Okay. So in total, as everyone else is resting, you find. Let me see. You find what totals out to be 7 platinum. And 1,000 gold pieces.
Shit.
235 silver.
Holy shit!
68 copper.
Yeah.
David, you doing?
And I was the
you
character was a
handling
piece of
the math
shit.
on that?
I got it.
God damn!
Which is kind of surprising because you do remember him being caught smuggling weapon. He was attempting to smuggle weapons into the town before he split. It was caught.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Go Jangle.
Wow.
Do you think they're smuggling anything in the sheep?
Just sheep full of drugs.
Not the sheep.
That's a thought.
Anything but the sheep. Oh boy, I feel bad for Steve.
You
Yeah,
sharing
Ren's
this
gonna-
information, Ren?
Yeah, no, she's gonna kind of, because I guess we're at the barricade while we're resting, and like there's still people there, and she's gonna open the sack. She's gonna start counting. She's gonna kind of like get a sense of how much fucking money she's holding right now, and she's gonna look around. She's gonna be like, "Oh my god!" And she's gonna put away, go somewhere a little bit more quiet, do the count, and then come back and quietly say to the group, I don't know what that guy was, who he worked for or what he was doing, but holy fucking shit, he was packing. We are fucking rich. There's a lot of money in this bag.
Wait.
Oh,
What do you mean by packing? What does packing mean? You mean like a bag? I'm confused.
Yeah, like a bag of money. Like he was packing a bag of money is what I mean. There's a lot of money. We've got like 1,000 gold, almost 2,000 gold because there's 7 platinum pieces.
Want to kind of divvy that out now, or wait for later? What do you want to do?
Well, I'm totally fine with divvying it out now, but I figured maybe let's wait until we're not in front of like a bunch of angry people.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Wait, so I know 1,000 is a lot, but I'm assuming that like
Keep our voice
1,000 gold. I'm assuming. I guess. Yeah. So that I guess having a feel the vibe, I'll start to like talk quieter. I'm assuming that 1,000 gold is like a lot.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I mean, it's a little bit. It's significantly less than what Calder brought back from the mayor in Elboulder.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah, it's fair
Still a
enough.
lot, though.
It was a lot.
Yeah, anyway, it's
Oh.
just a lot more than I was expecting a guy to have on him just traveling the road, especially in times like these.
is that normal? The way money works is weird.
Yes.
Think of all
very
the
much.
spices you can buy.
That would require knowing how money works, so you could know how much. Each
Well,
spice
no.
is worth.
Hold on. I bought chili peppers before,
True.
and in comparison, not too bad. But if they're available,
How much were those chili peppers, Egg? Remember?
I don't really remember. But I remember it wasn't that much though in comparison.
If they were 1 gold, imagine 1,000 chili peppers worth of it.
I would need a bigger bag.
Yeah, yes, you would.
Or,
Wow.
but see, the good thing, the reason why we use money is peppers spoil. Money doesn't.
We can sit here and talk about peppers all day, but we are losing light.
But peppers
Yeah.
are good though. You don't need light
Elkin's-
for peppers.
Elkin's
But
right. We should
I
get
know what you
going.
mean.
You're actually
Okay.
incorrect. To grow the peppers, you need light.
Anyway,
Okay, all
Fucking
right. That's semantics. That's the word, right?
yes.
That's a big.
That was
Big,
good.
yeah. Big. Hey. I said before I'm smarter than you think. I know some things.
You are
My
proving
common
it.
might not be good, but let's find giant hole. Let's go. Come on.
At this
Alder,
point,
you gonna be
after
all right?
oh, good.
Alder, you okay?
Yeah. Calder stands up and starts walking in the direction of the farm.
It is night out. There is little bit of cloud cover too, so it does make it quite dark.
I'll just touch the hilt of my sword across my back and cast light on it.
Okay.
The temptation to throw a pebble at Pondering Calder right there was so much. I was like, don't do
That
it,
worked
don't
out so
do
well
it.
last time.
Yeah.
You guys begin to trek into the middle of this open field. You can see there are some rolling hills, but relatively flat as you begin to travel into the night. The tall reeds and grass kind of cool against your touch as you walk through it. It does come up to about your waist. Yes, Eggball.
I'm sorry. So I guess after us having to rest, looking over the party, how's everybody looking?
I'm at full.
Yeah, I'm great.
Good.
Everybody's okay?
Yep.
Okay, then never mind. Apologies.
The coolness of the grass and reeds kind of brushing against you. It also has this kind of dampness, leaving some moisture on your clothing and armor. Calder leading the way, Velcom behind him. As you get to about the mile mark, you begin to see odd signs in the ground. Calder almost stepping into it before Velcom puts her hand on your shoulder and says, "Watch your step." As you look down, you can see the earth begin to split. At this point, it's very, very thin, probably only a foot in width. As you kind of look down, you just see this black, gaping kind of crack in the ground.
Calder, the thing you did with your sword, can you do that just whenever you want?
Yes.
Could you do Grandfather? I'll send him out ahead, see how far this goes.
Sure. I'll cast light on Grandfather.
And I'll send him to do a loop, like maybe 200 feet forward, and then come back pretty much following the edge line of this hole so that we can get a good idea of what it looks like.
Okay. Give me a perception check with Grandfather.
Alright.
Notably, too, the light does go away from the sword as I cast it on Grandfather, so as that happens, I'll pull out a couple torches and hand them to, I don't know, I'll hand one to Castus and one to Ren.
I'll just hold it. Hold
Sure.
that.
I'll light a torch of my own.
Ren doesn't need a torch, so she'll just stand it back. And thanks, though.
Well, it's not just for you, and I'll hand it to Abel.
I will proudly hold the torch.
Then I'll hold it.
All right,
Yeah,
I need my
then,
hands.
then
cast
Yeah.
this an egg ball, get a torch.
yeah. I will hold. I will
What
hold.
do your elf eyes see? Go ahead.
Well, not elf eyes, but construct eyes. See 19.
Okay. As you all are beginning to pass torches around, and grandfather goes out, Velkin kind of says to you, Calder, and I guess the party in general, she says, the gap begins to get wider and wider and wider. 500 feet I can see. But as you send grandfather out, it gets to the point where he has to even turn around. But you do see this massive gaping hole. But you can see nothing but darkness. You would probably guess it's about 1,000 feet in width.
Jesus.
It's not a perfect circle or anything. It is sort of like an oval, and you see a crack that kind of comes out one end that you can see that kind of leads, and it gets thinner and thinner towards your party, almost to where you guys are standing. So you're pretty much standing at the edge of this crack that kind of almost looks like a large balloon if you would look at it from a bird's eye view. But you can't see down into it, but you can see that the earth has began to fall and kind of sink into itself, but into darkness.
Is it like a? It's not like a sheer cliff, right? It's like a steady slope of dirt.
No,
Or
it is
have-
a cliff.
Okay.
You can just see nothing but the edge and darkness.
Have we
It's-
moved up to it at this point, like the bigger area?
Nope, you haven't said you did.
Before we do that real quick, when we get like grandfather back, is it still a sheer cliff even as it gets thinner
Thinner and thinner. Yeah, so it was as if you would take your hands into the ground and just
Yep.
It's like a cookie
separated.
cutter.
So there's
Right.
no. Yeah. So it's.
I have a thought. If we can get up to the bigger area. Has grandfather come back to you?
Yeah. This will be when he's back.
All
We
right.
can move.
Can I just find like a rock on the ground? Like
Mhm.
decent size, I guess. Like
I was
don't know.
just about to toss
Easy
my
to
torch.
find.
Light and drop it.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Toss shit in the hole.
I'll find a rock, I'll pick it up, I'll cast light on the rock. And toss this down the damn hole, see if we can figure out how deep it is.
Hopefully you don't hit
What's the
anything
distance
on
of
the
your
head.
light spell?
It doesn't say that it like goes away as it gets further from me. It just lasts for an hour unless I either cancel it or cast it again.
Okay. So you cast light on this rock, and you're just gonna drop it into the crack next to you.
Mm-hmm. Or like if we move up to the big area, I
Move
was
up to
gonna
the
like
hole.
toss it
Is
down
that
the
what you
hole.
guys are
Yeah.
gonna do? Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys move up, and you all begin to notice what grandfather and Velkin have noticed. The ground begins to widen out till you stand at the edge of this massive hole, and some of you that peer over kind of have to step back because you can see nothing down but darkness, especially with the dark sky and no moon kind of shining its light down upon all of you. You really can't see, so you kind of get nervous. Some of you that don't have dark vision have to back up. Calder, you step to the edge and you just
See what we got.
Ren's like right there watching.
Cast this.
anybody that has dark vision, give me a perception check.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Big 7.
Skill perception. That is a 15.
That's a 5.
Okay, let me just make sure I know what Falcon. Okay. So Castus, you said it was a 15, and the rest of you were kind of, what was the rest of your? You were a
Terrible.
5 Ren and
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah.
So, Cassis and Velkin notice that it gets about 80 feet before you lose sight of it, Cassis. It gets past 120 feet before Vulcan loses sight of the dim light. It just disappears into darkness.
That is a deep fucking hole.
Well, it's deeper than 120 feet, that's for sure.
We
Now
lose sight
listen.
of the light?
Yep. Just disappears into darkness.
Can we listen for it to hit the ground?
Is
Give me a perception check.
do we get the impression that that's maybe magical darkness then? Because I
You're
would think
not
it's 20. It's a
sure.
20-foot radius of bright light, and then an additional 20 feet of dim light.
Just means it's that deep.
Yeah, but like 100 feet, I feel like you could see a bright light like that.
You can see like
She-
a light like a mile away.
She loses it at 120 feet.
Gotcha. I
Is all
got
that you
a 11 on my perception check, by the way.
You do not hear it hit the ground.
Maybe it would be better to look at this in daylight.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think we could get down there without flying.
are there any
Daughter's
any
got
trees,
wings.
any structures like around the hole that seem stable?
Give me a perception
No.
check.
We do not have that much rope.
And there are 7 of us.
I mean,
That is only a 9.
A 9. You do not see any trees or anything that would be able to support weight even with that much rope.
7 by 50 is
Oh.
only 350 anyway.
I could send my friend down as far as possible and see what he finds.
For it.
Ailerons,
If you can see in the dark.
you can try. He can only go about 100 feet away from me, but we'll see if there's any landings or... One moment. And she puts her hand on your forearm, Isaiah, and her eyes cover over again. You see the cat lift off her shoulders and dive down into the darkness. It's not a moment later until it's a little bit. It's probably about 5 to 10 minutes or so before the cat reappears. And Velkin says, "Well, it's not a sheer cliff. There are things we could land on if we wanted to go down. About 100 feet or so. It's the nearest crag."
Anyone have climber's gear?
All right. Before we go descending down this unknown hole, let me. Why am I the voice of reason, first off? But this is a waste of time, right? I mean, what do we get out of this? We're losing them. They're a day ahead of us.
Unless they
feels-
did
It feels like a distraction.
if we want to get better look, we probably should wait till day. If nobody who can see in dark can see that far down, we might just be wasting time.
Yeah.
We should just rest and wait till tomorrow. And that is a good point, though, that this could just be distraction, or by the time we happen to see them, or see anything, would there be any point of trying to follow? Would
I
there
may-
be anything to follow?
To that point, I may be able to see a little bit better if there was daylight.
Yeah, I'm
Daylight
working
made it
on that.
harder for you.
I'm
Out
working
here,
on that,
but if I'm looking into the hole, I can see pretty far if it's dim light. I can always attempt it, depending how far it goes down.
I mean, if it's
reason-
as big as it says, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say the only reason I'm hesitant about distraction is if they're a day ahead of us, then they didn't do this because this happened a couple hours ago.
Could have been
Less.
set to charge off after they leave for 24 hours, something like that.
Well,
Poss-
Detonate.
much harder
It-
though.
in any case, it's either that we, either one of us or a few of us, try to make the trek down to the bottom now, without really being able to see, or we wait till the morning, and they already have how many hours ahead of
Well, they
us.
were going to have those hours anyway. We were going to sleep here tonight. Let's wait until morning to take a further look, but let's do at least let's go around the whole thing and head back on our way back and just see if we see anything odd along the.
Why don't we just camp here? Save time.
Next to the massive,
I mean,
scary hole in the ground.
not
Yeah, well,
What
directly
if it
next to it,
extends
but
20 feet?
Well,
Then I guess we're climbing tonight.
well, how about
We'll figure out.
Guess we're
what's going on.
diving tonight.
well, how about if we're worried about it having to expand, we just go a little ways back, and then everybody who takes shift every once in a while just checks in on the hole.
How,
If it happens to get
how far of a walk
Yeah.
is it to the town?
About a mile or
It's a
so.
mile.
how much weight can Ook hold if we were to say tie a rope to him?
A lot.
Question is if you were to tie. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. I thought you were gonna lower Ook into the hole. I was like, who's gonna do that? The other way around. I see. What
lower him in the
I
hole.
see what you mean.
Mhm.
So if he were to
14
someone
times
who's
15?
fairly, so in theory, if we were to tie a couple ropes together, one person could send
One
down
Yep.
with Ook holding you. You can take a look around, and if they scream bloody murder, you can pull them back up. But at least
Or
then
we
we
just
have an
rock
idea of
Yeah.
how deep it
Or
is.
we could just wait until it's light up because it doesn't seem like anything's happening right now. So
Yeah.
Well, they're dead.
Well, I'm just saying, even in the light, we'll still need a way to get down there to see if it's still dark down there. So it's still an idea we may have to approach.
yes, we
We
will
can do
have
it in the
to
morning, but let's take our little walkabout.
Yeah.
All right,
All right, let's walk about.
let's do one quick lap and then we'll find a place to camp nearby.
Do you want to
Okay.
split? Meet up on the other side?
No,
Okay.
in case somebody starts falling in.
Oh,
Just
I want
in
to make
case
sure
it
I land
starts
on you
falling
in
in.
case I cave in.
Okay. Are you guys getting? Are you staying relatively close to the edge? Look, what are you exactly you're trying to look for?
I just want to see if there's any changes in how sheer it is, if there's any signs of anything coming out or going in.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, just doing a lap to make sure we know where the perimeter is and doesn't all look essentially the same. Or is
Okay.
there
Even just like tracks is something I'd be looking
Yeah.
out for right around
Yeah.
the edge.
Yeah,
Signs of
same.
anyone else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Redrick, and one other person can give me an investigation check.
Not me.
To see
Oh.
if they can find some
Like
tracks.
that?
Go for it, yeah, if you would
Velkin-
like to run.
Velkin
Go
and
for it.
Isaiah, you can give me perception checks. See if you can figure out see anything different on the other side of the hole.
Yeah, Red
my
Knight.
new dice says game over, so that's a natural 1 on my die. So
Oh, no.
I guess it's all up to me then.
But yeah,
I gotta-
Bren, I trust you much more than myself.
Well, thank you. I got a dirty 20.
Nice.
I got a 13.
I hope that makes
Ooh.
up for my 0.
Oh, wow.
no, buddy.
You find all the tracks, but
You
staying
find your own tracks.
Staying
Sorry.
relatively close to the edge, Ren, and looking for any signs of movement or tracks. You don't see any. You do see some humanoid tracks, but after a while, you assume that it was probably the people that first initially discovered this. As you can see, they kind of leave back to town. As you are all walking around the opposite edge, Ren, you take a moment to stop and investigate some of the tracks, and you can hear some of the rocks. There's movement that happened kind of beneath you, and you hear the tumbling of dirt and rock beneath you for a moment. As probably some of the remnants of what had happened is still like happening, if that makes sense. Like it's
Yeah.
not just stable.
The earth is still shifting.
Yeah. It hasn't completely settled. With a dirty 20, you do eventually, after a minute or two, hear this distance, like, impacts within the hole. But it's after a minute or two of following.
That's a deep hole.
Yikes.
Yes. I I don't know if it's feasible to go down there. I just heard something fall for a minute. Maybe more.
Yeah, it's pretty
Ooh.
deep.
And I take a look while we're doing this. While they're doing that, can we take a look around and see if make sure nothing's prowling around and watching us?
Yeah, give me a perception check.
I'll use my jade die. On 14.
14. You don't see any signs of anything moving within the reeds or the high grass here. You do find remnants of probably a fence of some sort, of what remained of the fence that these people probably kept their livestock in. Not too far, kind of collapsed, and half of it's kind of hanging in the hole at this point.
Right.
If it's as deep as all that, no, maybe we just move on.
That's what I've been saying from the
Yeah.
start.
I don't know what we could possibly do here.
Well,
Yeah, me either.
So the only thing I'm saying is we're spending the night somewhere now, right? Either here or the longhouse.
Sure.
We
I
might
vote
as
on the
well.
longhouse.
We might as well spend the night here. Wake up in the morning, at least get eyes on whatever the fuck is there, and then move to the longhouse, pick up our horses, and head out. Or we could just go back to the longhouse, never worry about this, and the whole town will go crazy looking for whatever happened to these Fisher people, who may still be down there, depending on how it felt.
If it's that deep,
They're
we're not
dead.
going to see anything anyway. Morning or not.
If they were here when it went down, they're dead.
This thing is hundreds of feet wide. There's plenty of room for light to get down there.
And if anything, at least we'd get a better idea of how deep it is.
But, I mean, at this
It's fine.
point,
Yeah.
I got some work to do, and then I'm gonna sleep. But I don't really care if it's here or there.
Here's.
Do we think it might be a good idea if we try to buy more rope? I mean, especially if we have as much money as we do.
I don't think
now.
we're climbing down there.
Yeah, I don't
It's-
think.
I don't
It's
mind.
1,000 gold
I
worth
don't-
of rope.
I-
If it
Could
came
get
to
us
it,
to the
I could
bottom.
climb. I could climb there. It would be fine. But I
I
don't
could as
think.
well. I don't mind. Rope would
Have you-
certainly help. I
Have
don't
you ever
care.
climbed 1,000 feet in a row? In case we can't find a good place with ledges to stop at?
No, but I've climbed a lot of large trees, and with rope, I don't think it's that hard.
This could be
I
a
think it'll be
500
okay.
trees.
this could be like a full day of climbing.
Yeah.
She said she heard it fall for a minute before impact. We're talking maybe thousands of feet.
Yeah.
So let's.
It'll be okay. It'll be fine. Just
Let's
rope.
just-
Maybe we should ask. We should ask somebody for rope. That might be
Let's
the best idea.
get some sleep first, and then revisit this discussion in the morning. How's that sound? I will take first watch. I'm feeling fine.
I'll stay up with you. I got some work I want to finish up tonight.
I'll take a watch. Second words.
I'll
I'll take
I'll-
a watch
I'll-
as well.
I'll take
I
a
will
watch.
take watch as well.
Wake up whoever the fuck you want when you're ready.
Yeah, figure it out.
Where are we sleeping? Here or there?
Maybe about 100 feet that way.
Sounds
Yeah.
Put a lot of the
That was great. Okay, so you guys are gonna go about 100 feet or so away from the large hole and set up camp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whoever's taking the first watch can do so.
All right.
Sound like Castus and Isaiah.
Roll me a perception check.
Okay, let's do. Come on, critical roll. Oh,
Oh,
11.
Critical fail.
Oh.
Critically average.
I'm distracted by work. I got a one.
Critically average.
I got a total of one, not a natural one.
And Isaiah, what are you deciding to work on this evening?
I'm trying to finish up the sunglasses
Okay.
for Velkin.
Roll me a tinkering check. Non-magical.
Just enough to take the edge off so she can see. I'll use this one. Come on, don't screw me.
Screw him.
Hey, on the table. That is a 20.
Ooh, okay.
Yes.
Like,
Little
a
dance.
natty? Is it a natty?
I have rolled very poorly on my tinkering checks, and I'm
Yeah.
very happy about a 20.
What takes you the majority of your night is you've already have the lenses kind of set in the wire You've had that set and pretty much finished for a day or so now. But what you have kind of been working on this past night is just getting those fine details, kind of like twisting the wire just right and making the wire fit. So even if she would take an impact for any reason, that wouldn't pop the glass out of the frame. Just getting it in kind of the right size adjustments and everything just perfect. Making it look very, very neat and clean, polishing the steel wire that you used. Eventually, you kind of hold it up into the firelight. Perfection.
Oh, we're supposed to be watching. Yes.
We're watching. We're
Sorry
watching.
about that. Anything
And-
happened while I was...
It's just a massive
yeah.
hand to just grab Cassius and break him into the hole.
As Isaiah's doing that, I just like head sitting there. As Isaiah's doing that, I'm gonna try to again focus really hard on that energy, on that
Wings,
and try to focus on that. And as it just that same feeling kind of just falls over me, I'm gonna kind of mutter under my breath, and I'm gonna try to do this. Let me know if this does anything. I just messaged you. I kind of just slam my fist against the log.
So what are you thinking about when you're trying to do this?
I'm thinking about just focusing on that sensation. I get really frustrated, and so I just kind of think about. I think about is just thinking about Aldous and everything he's taught me is how he's always said just kind of just focus on what you're working on and let your hands guide you. Just let the pieces guide you. And I'm just trying to think about it and just he would always mutter under his breath just words I never understood, and I just kind of just focusing on that muttering just these words that I just don't know. Just kind of become habit whenever I'm dealing with something, and just as I'm not feeling that sensation that that I want to feel, whether it's the warmth of the light, the warmth of the light of the healing ability. I just kind of get frustrated and just slam my fists against the water on the ground I'm sitting on.
Gives me a wisdom saving throw.
Ooh, that's actually really good. Wisdom. Wisdom saving throw is that is an 18.
With an 18, you kind of slam your fist into the ground. Isaiah, for a moment as he does this, you see his like skin tone for a moment brighten, almost as if he was like a lightning bug, right? You don't notice this yourself, Cassis, because as you open your eyes, you see just little particles of electricity kind of coming off your fingertips.
You all right over there? You do that too much, you're gonna wake people up. So you should probably keep that.
What?
The glowing thing.
Literally have no idea what you're talking about. Is it? Do we have?
Okay.
This is probably the campfire. Is that the glowing thing you're talking about? It's called a reflection. No, light kind of bounces.
Twice in a day. This is gonna be okay. So, Castus, you just glowed for a second there. Like you literally just glowed, like gave off light, like glowed, like firebug. Yeah.
Okay.
We had this conversation earlier with Calder. Remember?
We're just a couple broke ass ASMR.
It was only a second. I don't know what you were doing, but whatever it was, it maybe did something. So
Okay. I'm gonna kind of close my eyes again. Just kind of think about Aldous. Think about he taught me. Think about the flow of just let the your hands work. And I kind of mutter to myself again. I was trying to repeat what I did before, and I want to clap my hands together and see if anything happens.
As you do, you clap your hands together, and your vision blackens. Isaiah, what you see is kind of Castus slump for a moment, and his eyes are just closed after he clasps his hand together. For your perspective, Castus, you let me actually just change this.
Broke
so much.
myself.
And Castus is dead.
Just out.
I can fix
My-
some things. I think I'm dead.
You wake up in a small little bedroom with a candle sitting next to you as you lay in bed, kind of snuggling Draco as he curls up next to you in his older form as your eyes kind of flutter open for a moment. You shake your head and you're like, the first thought that comes to your mind is like, I shouldn't be sleeping right now. You see it, you look over and you can see the small candle that is probably 3/4 of the way finished burning, and you just hear from the opposite side of the bed as you roll over, and that is that, my boy. We will continue your lessons tomorrow. And you hear a book being closed, and a breath kind of blow out the candlelight as the room goes dark. You can kind of see the small little smoke trail flow up. And you feel these small little hands kind of pull the blankets up and tuck you in tight. And you hear the door open. Good night, my boy. And the door closes. And as you hear it lock for a brief second, that when the door kind of clicks, your eyes flutter open, and you just remember you're now standing in Elbador as you look at Adlith walking with Othir into the forest, and that feeling that you just that you had at that moment. She turns back to you and looks at you and gives you a smile, puts her hand on Othir for a moment, and she walks into the forest. And it's at that moment, Isaiah, when you see Castus kind of blink back into consciousness.
Right in front of him, hands on his shoulders. Okay, that was not the same thing. Don't do whatever you did that second time. Do what you did the first time. What happened?
No.
Talk it out. Just use the words. It helps.
I remembered. Woke up in a small bed. My bed. And eldest was there. And kind of quiet, and you see his face just visibly just kind of sag a bit, sink a bit. Like, oh,
Sounds like a good memory.
it's teaching me something. Little things. I do that all the time. And I thought that the pistol, my old ones, the one I used to work with, he would always never wanted me to use it, but he taught me how to use it just so I'd keep safe. But as you know, there are limitations to it. I can only do it so many times before I'm out.
Yeah.
So I think I remember him just trying to teach me ways of just in case, ways to keep me safe, just in case. I forgot about that with everything that's been going on. Yeah.
Well, that sounds like it was a very good moment then. Very good time to remember these things, and that's the best thing about people we love, right? That we have those memories of them. Always.
I want to reach down, just grab a rock, and just kind of look at it. I just want to kind of try to cast light on it.
Close your eyes. You focus on that memory of Aldous and those teachings that he used to sit next to you and read to you every night, making you feel like not only just an apprentice, but more like a son. In that moment of comfort and protection you just felt in his home and acceptance. And as you do, you see the rock
Okay. I think I'm okay.
All right.
Isaiah, you do notice something on Cassis's hands. You see them almost sparkle. He would almost stuck his hand in a pot of glitter. These tiny little silver and gold sparkles on his hands. And you notice that as you kind of like squint and look, it's not only his hands, but they run up his wrist and his arm. And as the light on the rock fades, so do the sparkles on his skin.
Well, certainly seems like you're figuring some stuff out. It's good. It's good. We like having you around, and it certainly seemed like you were missing something a couple of times.
Yeah, I think I just took things for granted and kind of forgot why I do the things I do in the first place.
That's an important thing to remember. If you ever need some, I'll jot this memory down. Make sure if you ever need it, smack you upside the head with it. Maybe though, keep the light show to a minimum when people are trying to sleep. Though I think we're okay this time. But
see what I'll try to keep that. Yeah, I should probably. It's getting late. I probably should wake up Calder or Ren, or I should probably get some sleep.
fair enough. I'm pretty much finished myself. Let's let's make Frederick and Calder take a watch together. See if they survive.
Damn it.
Exactly.
I'll go wake up Calder, but as I'm kind of settling down, I kind of cut my hand around the pebble and just keep kind of casting light over and over again. Kind of just think of Aldous and back home in Mimf.
Yep. Continues to do so.
I basically do that until I just kind of just pass out.
All right, who's on the next watch?
Frederick and Calder!
Yep.
So you guys are woke up in the middle of the night, kind of cold and chilly. The fire's kind of got low. Isaiah probably remembered to stoke it, at least for what he could find. Maybe a little bit distracted with the glasses. But you guys wake up. Give me perception checks.
Oh boy.
Great time.
Oh good.
Even with my trend 6.
I got you beat with a 5.
Hey,
Wow.
dream team.
Okie dokie.
So wings, huh?
Yeah, you got something you want to say?
I don't know.
You were throwing some shots earlier. You don't want to anymore?
I think I got it out of my system. Just
Sure.
kind of thing that feels like it should be, under control.
Yeah, well. It's just the outside changing to match what's on the inside, huh?
You know, you act all, I don't know, heroic. At least I think everyone thinks that. Saving people and stuff. But keep bringing up, I don't know, something. Something you've done before, I don't know. There's something there.
Yeah. Yeah, try to do good. Yeah. Trying. Seems like every time I take a step in that direction, there's just another reminder that there is something rotten in me. Something broken. It's probably why I can see it in you.
Fucking. Damn it. Why did it have to be this group? Finally, the one that got me.
How do you mean?
I've worked with partners, you know, anyone in the past that ever made money, right? Connections, not a thing I ever wanted from that. I'm sure, I don't know, you might understand some part of that, but y'all are different. Good different. The kind of different that all this shit is. And that's what bothers me, right? Attachments. A little too much of them.
Hmm. I think my problem in the past has been less with making attachments and more making them with the wrong people.
That's why I avoid them entirely, my friend. When I can. A little past that point with you guys, though, I think.
Oh, even me?
Answer your question from the other day. Yes, it's a problem. All right.
I
I'm
figured
working
as
on
much.
it. Listen, it comes with the package. It's not the first time. You think first time I grew a tail, I was ready for that shit? No. We work on it. Wings, tails, teeth, claws. I don't know. Maybe there is something to other people's shit that I didn't know about before.
Look, I know you haven't been necessarily appreciative of me pointing those concerns out. I just want you to know the intention is for the good of this. Not just me, but you and them. I'm sure I don't always come across the best. That's nothing new. When most of your formative years are spent doing harm. I think that just tends to be in everything you do and say, and I'm working on it. And you're right to be concerned about me as well. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm not at least a little unhinged.
Listen, I was just fucking with you, but if you think it's a real concern, I mean, you watch my back, I watch yours, right? It's like you said. Either one of us goes out of control, putting the other down.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm starting to see what you're saying. Watching out for the group and all.
Like you said, this is different.
Yeah.
Something to protect. You keep that in mind too. You're starting to like us. We're starting to like you, even if you are kind of an asshole. You're not in it alone. What you're dealing with.
It's easier than this fucking shit. Campfire talks and all that. But yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm not exactly super keen on bearing my soul either, but I don't know.
Working through shit.
Yeah. I don't know. Let me know if there's anything I can do.
Likewise. Think I got some egg stew left over from earlier. You want some?
Sure.
Toss in a bowl.
Into the hole they go. Never to be seen again. Okay. If that ends that,
These other two.
nothing too eventful happens during your watch. I think Eggball and Ren said they were going to take the last watch.
Sure.
Falcon is also awake during your two's watch. She doesn't pay any attention to you. You just see her kind of cast a small little light, and she's just flipping through a large tome that she carries with her. But you two roll me perception checks.
That is a 15.
That is a 13.
Okay. Anything you guys wanted to say and or do during your watches?
I guess after having to be woken up and getting myself all settled, I guess just having to survey our surroundings and throughout the entirety of my watch. I have my walking stick in hand, either out in front of me, just kind of out my side, or I instead shifting, just kind of hold it in my lap, and I'm just sort of either just rubbing it or kind of glancing at it.
What did you say it looks like again?
It is a walking stick. It's not very. It has some carvings on it, but the main, I guess, you don't know giant, do you? So there is a name that is on it, but you do not know, or at least moreover, you don't know what the name says. But at least with some of the carvings, from what you can tell, looks to be elongated horns. Some seem to just kind of be straight, some seem to have slight curves, others seem to kind of come into spirals and into a spike. And then at the top, it looks as if there is two. It looks like that the top, or moreover, I guess kind of like the handle where the top would be, looks the most freshly carved. It looks like it's in triangles, but they have slight curves, possibly of teeth. And then above them, parallel on either side, have two sort of long horns that the points reach up to the top. and then come back down and meet back to the teeth.
At some point during the watch, after Ren kind of wakes up a little bit, she'll notice the walking stick, because I don't think you've really had it out much before. And she'll come over and sit next to you, and she'll just kind of look at it and go, it's a really neat looking stick. Did you carve it?
Oh, yes and no. It originally was my dad's. And my mom gave it to me. And over time, after I heard more stories about him, I don't know, some of his trophies that he had, and I'll put up like my right arm, and on his wrist is it looks like to be sort of like a tribal ornamental bracelet that has about like 5 or so kind of like rings, and throughout each of the rings are just different types of horns, or I guess, sorry, not horns, but pieces of horns or tusk and such. The more I found out about him, I tried to remember, so I carved on his walking stick. And one of the first things that I found out, I decided to put at the top. But it was his. And I don't use it often, but it helps. It's comforting. It reminds. I don't really remember him, but it helps me. Does that make any sense?
So he started carving it, and then now you carve it. It's kind of like a story that you wrote together.
It's like a connection.
Yeah. Something tangible. I think that makes a lot of sense. It's nice to be able to connect with your dad in a way like that. I'm sorry you don't have many memories.
It happens. There's a lot of people in my tribe that don't really remember much of their parents. But are you doing okay? Is everything alright?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, aside from like, you know, like demons and like a curse and, you know, that stuff, I mean, I think things are going as well as they can be. But
Oh, I guess I mean outside of that. I would assume you have your own parents, right? In a family. Do you know what's up with them? Do you know?
I had parents. Um,
Do you know where they are?
speaking, in a manner of speaking, they're gone. They're gone. It happens, right?
I guess. It's still a sad thing when that happens, though. Do you know what happened to them? If I'm asking too much, you don't have to answer. I know.
It's okay. Well, my mom died when I was really little. I was like 7, and she just, you know, she got sick, and it was sad, but
Oh,
it was just kind of, you know, I've had a lot of time to get used to that. My dad was killed a couple months ago. I think by the 5 blades. I'm not sure.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Thanks. It's yeah. I'm sorry about your dad too.
No, do you have any siblings? Do you know what happened with them?
I've got two brothers. And I'm looking for them.
Oh. Well, so I know sometimes what helps me is that I try to remember things um about people that is either hard to remember or that I've lost. And well, I guess what are some things that you remember about your brothers or your parents? Anything good? Anything bad?
Everything
Just
good.
anything?
Everything good. Um, you know, Adlith actually reminded me of my mom a lot. Um, she kind of smelled like her. She was an herbalist, and Castia's place too. That's what my whole house used to smell like. I don't know. It's kind of heavy.
Oh, it's okay. Um, I mean, I'm sure that was nice, to have to. Though, though I know it's hard. I'm sure it was nice to remember, you know, get that familiar feeling. Though, though sad, I'm sure it was comforting. And I just kind of think about that after saying it, and just sort of look back at my walking stick for a second. Um, what do you remember anything about your siblings?
It's only been a couple months since I've seen them. They're really good. They're good people. Logan's a few years older than me and my other brother, Briar, and it's my twin actually.
Oh, that must be fun and weird. What's it
It's
like? What's it like having a twin, but that's also a brother? What's it like having a twin?
it's like having a built-in best friend. It's um
Are they like you, but they're a boy? Or are they different?
yeah, well, yeah, like there's yeah, I mean he's like me but a boy. He looks, we look a lot alike. We Briar and we've got a lot of the same interests. We used to play together all the time when we were kids, and we did all the like the magic tricks, and we'll just like make a coin appear and then disappear again really quickly, and we used to practice that sort of stuff on each other. And yeah, he's just my best friend, both of them. We're a really tight knit family.
That sounds very nice. I'm glad that you had siblings, both older and younger. I'm sure that was very fun. I'm sorry that you're not really sure where your brothers are. And I'm sorry about your parents, but I'm sure we'll be able to find your brothers at some point. I mean, they have to be somewhere around, right? It's only been a few months.
That's the hope. Yeah.
Do you do you know maybe where they went? Did they go south where we're going? Are they back toward the city?
Um, the night that my dad was murdered, we had to run. Um, Logan sent Briar to get me, and Briar said that Logan was trying to lead people away from us. It's really fast. It was crazy. And Briar and I ran, and like there were people chasing us, and we had to hide, and like it was insane. There were people like literally wandering the streets with knives. It was crazy. But we hid and we made it for most of the way, but then like like really close to the outside of the city, we got spotted, and like then we got chased, and like the people that were chasing us were faster than us, and
I guess while you're in kind of like the midst of thinking, I don't know if we're either standing or sitting or what, but I'm just gonna move over and I'm just gonna hug you.
yeah. And I think Rin probably is just like completely dwarfed by you. But she'll just kind of like, she won't hug you back, but she'll just kind of like lean into it, take a breath, and then just say, we split up. Briar ran back into the city and I ran out. And they chose to chase him and not me. And I don't know where my brothers are.
I'll kind of hold it for a second, and then I'll let go and just sit next to her. Well, the only city. Well, I've never met them. Either of your brothers. But I'm sure that they're fine. And I'm sure that we'll find them. If your older brother led them away, then I'm sure they know where they're going. And they knew what they were doing. And if the other one happened to be chased, I'm sure he knew where to go. They had to have known. We'll find them. That's the best hope we have. And if anything, we'll find out what happened. Okay?
Yeah. One thing at a time.
One thing at a time.
Yeah.
And then now Egval just kind of like, sort of, I guess, coming back to quote unquote consciousness and thinking about for a second what just happened starts to become a bit more awkward. And just kind of like cautiously just like starts to like rub your back because now he's just really unsure of what to do.
Okay.
Or it's just gonna like kind of pat you, and then she'll just be quiet for the rest of the watch.
If that's everything, eventually as the conversation kind of fades, a few more hours until daylight, kind of the sunrise begins to crest over the horizon. I'm giving you this cool but comfortable morning. You two eventually wake the rest of your party.
It's time for breakfast! Good morning, everybody! Good morning!
This food, I'm going to die before I even kneel down that hole.
Hey, it's good food. You know it's good food. Come on. That's mean. That's rude.
It's good food.
Thank you.
All right, breakfast whole road, I suppose.
Yeah.
This whole road.
Yeah.
This early.
Yeah.
You can see at this point, the Velkin's cat is tightly like wrapped around her face, and it is shading her with its wing from the sunlight. As it
Not a morning person.
It's probably for the best.
She's just kind of wincing at the bright morning sun that's cresting over the horizon.
I guess after making breakfast and serving, I'll stand in front of her where the sun would shine on her with my shadow to try to help if possible.
Thank you. I guess we're going to take one more look at this.
Yeah, let's take a gander and get the fuck out of here.
Let's.
Shed a little light.
Yeah. At least get an idea of what we're looking at. If there's nothing special, we just keep on moving.
Calder, do you mind lighting another rock and throwing it in the hole?
Sure. As we walk up to it, is there enough light to get a pretty good view besides?
You can probably see at this point 50 or so feet down into the hole before it gets too dark for even your dark vision for those with dark vision to kind of see
Penetrate.
past that vision without easily, So, but you can give me a perception check if you're not trying to, if you're just looking.
No, I mean I'll do it. I was just wondering like how far we could see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
50 or 60 feet before it gets too dark to be able to make out details. You do see
another
now
rock.
that the morning sun and the sunlight is kind of hitting the hole, that it does look like it is rather sheer, but it doesn't look like something like cookie cuttered it or anything. There is texture to the hole itself. And you can tell some parts had fallen in a little bit steeper than others, but it does go down, like the wall goes down 50 or 60 feet, and there is no like pit or drop off. You see a continuation, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Of
Yeah, I'll find
Earth.
another rock, cast light, and toss it down.
Okay. You see Velkin kind of with the help of Addison's kind of shading her eyes. She peers over. She can tell she's like examining pretty hard. Well, I can see some difference. It's about 100 or 120 feet down that the wall here disappears into nothing but a drop. She kind of comes back up. The good news is it looks like the majority of the earth is piled up on this side, the opposite side where we first looked. I can see about 150 or so feet, a large mound of what it looks like the dirt had landed and began to pile up. On this side that we're standing on, it is after about 100 or 120 feet is just sheer cliff.
Drops away like it's hollow. At
Right.
that depth. Shit.
Like,
On the other side,
still
we
that
could
way.
actually get down and then
Yep.
continue
Imagine
down.
if you're
safe-
looking at the edge of the hole,
Mm-hmm.
about 200 feet down, you can see the pile of the rubble begin to kind of run its way up the wall. On the side that you are on, it is just after the
Yep.
bottom here, it's just
Gone.
like an overhang,
Oh.
yeah.
There was a
Oh.
hole, and the side caved in. So now there's still that hole, but I mean,
Wow.
distraction or not, there's something going on down there.
But are we really gonna learn anything that we need? I mean, we're on the tail of these guys. We're gonna go down into that hole, fight some crazy ass monster, and then have to rest another day, and they're gonna get further away.
But if there's monster, better we deal with it than it having to attack the town, or worse, more sheep.
It was more just saying we're wasting our time down there. There might not even be a monster.
But what if there is? I didn't think there was, but now that you mention it, that makes sense.
If
I
we
guess the
waste,
question is, do can we live with ourselves knowing that if we left and there is a creature in there that attacks the city, can we accept that?
I mean, the Enclave's here.
Yeah, we can report it to them. We're stopping by anyway.
True.
Do
Soldiers.
you really think we could stop something this big if it was a creature that costs the size of a hole?
No.
I mean, we can try.
We could try a lot of things.
Yeah. Even if there is
Okay,
something
okay.
down there, or something that caused this, we might find a lead for down there. Like Redrick is saying, the longer we're here, the further ahead they get, the less chance we have of stopping them from opening the Black Gate, right?
Exactly.
And then things could
Okay.
get much worse from there.
Velkin,
But-
can you see any remnants of the farm?
Kind of peers down. It's too hard to see. If they are down there, they're probably buried under the rubble. Or at the very bottom of it.
I guess there's nobody dying, so might as well keep moving.
I will just tell the Enclave, and then we have to work our way back here if we go to Elbador anyway. So
Yeah.
actually check on it when we get back.
DM,
Mm-hmm.
I have kind of a dumb question.
Doesn't surprise you, but okay. No, I'm just kidding.
Jesus.
I mean,
Damn.
if it's underground, it digs holes. Only thing that I can think of is like worms. Is there like, do I know of any like giant worms in the area? That seems so like. I mean, like, I don't
you can
know.
Give me a nature check.
This would be a
Okay.
pretty big fucking worm.
Yeah, I just I know it just doesn't sound like in the realm of possibility, and
Like,
that
1,000
roll
foot
makes
wide
sense
worm.
too.
All collapse.
My total roll is a 9.
You've never heard of a worm that big.
Yeah,
We're getting into Dune territory.
I just that's the only thing that I'm thinking.
Most
Cue
likely
the Arrakis
there
music.
Most likely there was some sort of cavern. And
Yeah.
the top fell in.
Say that again, Isaiah.
I was just saying, most likely there was a cavern and a side or top fell in, and that's why it's tilted into a hole.
Caverns, tunnels.
True.
Who knows? Point is, checking it out is not going to be a fast thing. If we did that,
And it's not
At
like
least
anyone's
a
going to
day.
be fixing this hole, so we could easily
Right.
hit it on the way back.
if we come back,
Get going. We gotta get
may
going.
not be coming back this way.
Fair enough. Alright, stop at the barricade, tell the Enclave what's going on, and then grab our horses and head out.
Yeah.
Oh, we might also want to tell the
Okay.
Hook hand.
yeah. I guess. I don't know. He can decide what to tell people. We'll just tell him what we found.
Yeah.
This time we reported to the Enclave, and from there.
Yep.
Not
So our plan
job.
is to head to Hardcastle then.
Yep.
Yep.
I think so.
Mhm.
I will warn you. I avoided that place for a reason.
Hardcastle.
Well,
What reason?
They
What's
do not
wrong
like
with
my
you?
kind.
Oh well. Yeah.
Oh, well, that
can we at least have to head that direction. For a
We can
while,
stop
right?
there for sure. They would just have to keep me out of sight whenever I cannot keep my disguise up. I can do it a couple of times a day if it's necessary, but
You got a hooded cloak.
still not gonna hide this. Kind of points to the color of her skin.
Well,
you
no.
can stand behind me, or you can wear my sleeping bag. I'm sure it's pretty big.
We can think about it once we get closer. It is a day or so until we arrive there.
You and I are both gonna have some trouble in town with that, I'm sure. So at least you won't be alone.
I mean, we don't need to go to the city, right? Maybe a couple of us can run in and grab some things and meet you outside, like right into the rift, right?
We're heading to the rift.
City's not our goal.
True.
And it's plain, so we should be. We'll be able to take the cart over non-road.
Unless who we're following is fucking up Hardcastle too, we might have to deal with something.
Actually, that would work better to avoid the city then. Let them stop there and do something, and we go around, get there before them.
Got a funny
Maybe.
feeling they're going for the rift as well.
Right, but they've been fucking up towns on the way, right?
True.
So if they stop at Hardcastle and we don't,
We beat them there.
If they stop at Hardcastle and do something, we should go and fix it. Should we not?
It'll
We're
get
already
fixed. They
So-
got guards there
so-
for a reason, right? I mean, we can't go solving all
guards-
the problems in Cespage.
I don't see guards handling the shit that we fought in the woods yesterday.
So just for a little piece of my information, I've heard about this group that you've been following for a couple of days now. Would you like to fill me in?
well, you were there in the longhouse when they were talking about a guy who disappeared, and then things happened, and then we went and fought a monster that apparently showed up at the same time things were happening.
Right, but I was just to take you to the Great Rift to investigate the gate. I did not know we were chasing people.
These are the ones who were trying
Yeah,
to open the gate.
we may have forgotten that piece of information that it's actually a little bit of a race.
I guess I assumed you'd been
wait.
told.
Wait, so we know that the Moonstone. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Moonstone has something to do with it. The Moonstone was
Moonstone, the
taken from
tree.
Alvador. So what if the group that we're chasing has the Moonstone?
Yeah,
Because when we found out about it, they showed up a few days beforehand.
they
Right, they surely do.
have the moonstone and they have whatever they took
Almost
from the tree in the wood.
Right, they're collecting pieces to open the gate. The Moonstone's one of those.
And we've been on their tail the whole time.
Oh wait, hold on. So should we ask before we leave if there's anything like some type of artifact from the blue flame that was kept here? What if for some reason they're keeping pieces in different spots that they know has to do with it?
So that's what they used to do, but we do know that whoever was at the tree said they had all the pieces.
Correct.
Oh,
So they've got
yeah.
everything they need. They're just on the way now.
Yeah, they had that
Okay.
before we left Elbudor.
I think they're sowing chaos along the way to keep people busy, probably.
Yeah.
But why?
I mean, it might be part of what they're doing. If they're trying to break.
Do they know we're
fabric of
chasing
the
them?
rule.
Probably.
Yeah,
Maybe.
likely.
I mean, I-
Assume so.
I'd like to think that if I was going to unleash some sort of crazy bad stuff, I would lay some things behind me on the way to keep people distracted and unknowing until it happens.
Well, it's also if you want to punch a hole in fabric, hitting it a couple of times softly, and then doing it once hard. It's a little bit
True,
easier.
to weaken it and then make it easier for when you're really going for it. That's
a good point.
true.
I hate to agree with
Mhm.
Redrick, but if something, you have to spend as little time in Hardcastle as possible. You can try to get to the Rift. If something is happening in Hardcastle, I hate to say it, but I don't think we have the time to try to prevent it. We have to get to the Rift as soon as possible.
Worst
I'm gonna-
things will happen in Hardcastle if they beat us to the rift.
At the very least, we need to check.
You can check. I'm not saying we can't check. I'm just saying that we might not be able to help in the same degree that we helped it previously. Because now we know that someone is ahead of us causing this, and it's not just circumstances.
It
Have
might
to
be a
try to
good
get
place for
ahead
us
of
to
them.
stay before we head into the wilderness as well.
I
Not
agree.
stop a civilization, get what we need.
Yes.
And in the meantime,
Prepare.
we double time on the horses, push a little harder than we have been.
We'll check in. We'll see if there's issues. If there are issues that we can solve to save people, we should do that.
Yes, we'll do that.
Will. It's just
But hopefully, if nothing happens, and if we happen to beat them to the punch, as I guess someone would say, then maybe we just keep on moving, and maybe beat them to wherever this gate is.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Hopefully Hardcastle is untouched. That's just not the pattern that we've been seeing.
Is it?
That'd be nice.
Is it actually? Hopefully, because I got the feeling there was not like Hardcastle was not like a great place.
Well-
Go lucky,
We
positive.
having this conversation on the way back to the
Yeah, we're walking.
we're walking and talking.
Yeah.
Just make sure.
So I guess so I guess then question for Calder. Calder, how close is Hardcastle to the forest? Because I know that we were told that weird things were happening to places that were near the forest, but how close is it? Because we're really close to it now, and
DM?
Elbador was a little ways away.
Let me get a. Hold on.
Because if it's further away than Elbador, then maybe Hardcastle is going to be okay no matter what happens.
I don't think the forest is the source of these problems. I think it's the men.
We also heard that pretty much
It's
every
relatively
city
close.
got attacked, not just the ones near the forest when that big Cespich wide attack went off, right?
It's probably
They
about
said-
15 to 10 to 15 miles from the edge
Okay.
of the city.
They said there have been outbreaks like this all over. It's not just coming from the Chandawood.
There's also we should remember, we just learned that the Emerald Enclave has a big old headquarters at Hardcastle, so
Yeah,
they're probably handling
they'll be
a lot more
fine.
shit than Torsh
They'll be
and
fine.
Elbador.
Cass got
But we will
This is all speculation right now. Let's debate it when and if it comes up.
Cass kind of sidles up next to Calder, kind of whispering a little close to him, like, "Do you know people in Hardcastle? Are you? Is there some
Yes.
specific you're trying to look for?"
Yes.
Okay. Okay. He kind of just walks away, and he kind of pats him on the shoulder, and kind of just moves back and continues on.
Speculation.
For expediency's sake, unless anyone wants to do anything specific, you do give your report of the whole to the Emerald Enclave, the remaining members of the Emerald Enclave that are manning the barricade. You do notice that they are letting traffic move through at least a little bit more, just for like the couple of hours that you may be spending in to kind of gather your things, and talk to Elliot, who you also inform of the goings on. He promises that he's just going to tell the townsfolk of your findings, that it was mainly just a cave in. Unfortunately, the family was lost. Is that what you planned on telling him?
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
that's
Yeah.
Org.
He said he has to make a formal report to the Hardcastle family to tell them exactly what's going on, because the Fishers themselves provided a good percentage of wool
Fuck.
for the city of Hardcastle. They were a big proprietor of sheep.
Man,
So
somebody really hates
This-
sweaters.
Yes, this was a purposeful hit. and we did
everyone
not
hates
know.
sweaters. I agree. But if there's nothing else that you guys want to do in Torsh, other than some small little wrap up things, you gather your things, you pack Ook and Velkin and Egg into the cart, you regather all of your horses, and you head down the road east with the Chandawood on your left, leaving the mountains behind you and the small town of Torsh behind you as well.
As we're kind of getting on the road, just the sort of like tension sitting in the air from our previous conversation. Listen, I understand the desire to avoid town and try to beat them there. I'm gonna ask as a favor for me, which I know is stretching it because, I mean, we don't all know each other that well yet. Can we at least look in?
Yeah, man, of course.
Of
All I had
course.
to do was ask.
I kind of figured that's what would happen anyways.
Yeah, if there's a
You need to go to Hardcastle, then we'll go to Hardcastle. That's fine.
more than that, if there's a problem, we gotta do something, or I have to do something. He's
Okay.
kind of like nervously taps his leg as he's walking.
If there's a problem, then we'll help. It's fine.
Okay.
Redrick,
I'm against it, but it doesn't seem like we have a choice. I'm not going chasing after them alone, so.
Redrick, you got family. Remember, you wouldn't tell us who you're
Granted.
working with for their safety. My family's in Hardcastle.
That's a whole different ballgame, and it's not even a question anymore.
Stopping by
We're
Hardcastle.
Make
All you
sure
have
it's
to
safe.
And any of y'all who are good at lying, we should try and work on, like, you have, like, skin paint?
I do, actually.
Skin
Well,
paint.
yeah, actually, yeah. Now that you mention it, I do. I'm kind of good at it.
Speaking of lying, I have something to help out lying.
Oh, yeah, I'm also pretty good at lying.
I mean,
Oh,
lying.
so
I'm
I don't know that I believe that. No.
lying. I'm not
Verify.
too
Wizard
bad,
of
but I
lying.
have something to help.
Yeah.
Not Duncan?
Just all she said is we have tools that could help us.
Ah,
I'm a fair liar. I just don't know how far it'll necessarily go there.
Well, lying it is. It's going to be exciting.
Are we gonna have to hide you while we're there, Gold? Are we gonna have to come up with a new name?
I don't know.
Gray. I like gray.
To be honest,
Cauldron.
it's a
Where'd you get
personal
that one
choice.
from?
Gray?
Yeah.
All on the
Fucking
nose.
wait. How about
Well, hopefully
cauldron?
not when
Because
we
it's
get
like
there.
Calder. It's like Calder, but different.
Well, there is one good
Cauldron.
thing about Hardcastle. Here they have a wonderful library.
Oh,
I don't know that we're gonna have
Okay.
time for reading.
There's
Well-
always time for reading.
Maybe on the way back.
We could probably
Good
just start
word.
reading. And that is where we're going to end our session this evening.
Very
so
good. Ooh, spicy.
We'll
All
see you-
right, everyone.
I think.
Good.
Thanks for tuning in. We are going to do a nights off on this episode on Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Be sure to tune in, catch that. We've got lots to discuss, I think, going forward. No real other announcements since anyone wants to jump in. No, we good? All right, then we are all set.
All right, everybody.
Yep.
All right.
See
Be
you
kind,
guys
be
next
happy,
week.
and make sure to love each other. Peace.
Bye.
May the